Welcome back to the WatchTower Film Podcast, the film review podcast on the Towercast Network by Cinephiles for Cinephiles. And we're kicking off a new series today. Before we do, what are we cheering to?
We are cheering to the nomination of the 2024 Oscar year.
2024 Oscar nominations are here. I was up at 5:30 a.m.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Wait,
Cheers. Huh?
Today?
No, it was like 2 weeks ago. Or a week
Austin,
ago.
cheers.
Nominations are out.
What are we sampling this fine day?
We're sampling some sake. Sake?
Why?
Is it
I've
sake or
always
sake?
I want to try this.
Sake.
What am I
Sake.
getting into?
Huh?
What is this? Like, what type of taste am I? And
Oh, dear God.
ever
It
have
smells like
Kool-Aid?
Japanese whiskey.
right?
It's
You ever have Kool-Aid?
It's Korean.
It's not that.
No, it smells like Japanese whiskey.
You ever have milk and Kool-Aid? It's nothing like that.
oh yeah, I was already like.
I saw
going
somebody
through the
do
memory bank.
milk in red wine recently and said it was
Really?
the best thing in the world.
I
with
think
red wine?
It was
anybody
Benny Blanco.
Well,
actually.
I also know
Truck?
that people are like
Yeah.
doing like, they're doing a pilk, and like pilk's the worst thing in the world.
What's pilk?
What's pill?
Pepsi milk? Like you
Yeah.
have Pepsi,
I
have
did
milk.
for a while,
hadn't
though.
heard
Yeah,
about it,
exactly.
yeah.
But
Like
like,
the-
I did Pepsi and Pop Rocks, but it didn't go as I was hoped.
yeah,
You know which one I
nothing-
tried? Hot Dr Pepper.
I've heard that.
It kind of makes sense, man.
that.
I've had barbecue ribs made with Dr. Pepper, like hot barbecue.
Wow, I've never had
So-
that.
No,
that
but
kinda
I-
makes sense.
I have heard about that.
Yeah?
Like
That was,
boiling
that was a
pepper.
thing back in the 1960s.
I've had Dr. Pepper wings, Castro, at Pluckers, man.
I've had the Dr.
Fucking
Pepper
good.
shake
the
at Whataburger.
flavors.
Dr. Pepper shake a water burger.
I've just poured Dr. Pepper out of the bottle. I don't care anymore.
Like
So-
onto you or?
Yeah.
This is
we're
kind
doing
of like Dr
this
Pepper.
It's,
Sake.
it's rice wine. So what happens is that normally when you order it, it comes heated up and it just goes down smoother. You know.
Oh, okay, and that's what you were doing right
that
now.
don't look smooth, baby.
Well,
You
Oh,
have
drink
to
that
cut to
Coke.
that.
Drink that Coke.
I'm good.
All right.
Is this a
Cheers,
sipper or
baby.
we shouting?
It's a sipper.
It's a sipper?
Oh, it's a sipper.
It's a sipper. Normally it comes like piping hot, and that's why I was trying so hard to warm it up.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's actually pretty good.
It's a very light rice
I
wine.
just know people do sake
wow.
shots, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I figured.
Oh, they do sake bombs. So
Sake
like
bombs.
stuff like that is.
But they have like even smaller cups, right?
yeah. They're really really small, but normally they'll actually give you like a little bottle that's heated up, super hot, and then you just pour it, and then you just kind of
Anyone
sip
else
on
feel
it.
like
And
a giant?
wow.
It is a little strong.
Yeah, no, that's
think
why
so?
it's small.
It's how do you call it? It's deceiving.
No, it is. It's
You know what else this is eating, Castro? The family in today's film that we're covering.
You know what I'm
Ooh,
wondering is
wow.
if it's racist that we're drinking sake.
no
Why?
because
Why?
it's like
It's
a
Japanese. It's not Asian. It's
Nah,
They
not.
drank
Korean.
sake in the film.
Where?
when they were getting like drunk and all
It's
that.
not Japanese. It's Asian. It's Japanese, not Korean. When they're getting drunk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see sake.
Yeah, I even pointed it out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Sake
it's
is
something
not
that's-
just Japanese. I mean, it's
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna put Castro. Time step that.
Yeah. No. It's cool, man. You're hanging out with 1/16 Asian, so it's all good.
That's all good. You're right.
But
We're
yeah.
drinking sake
I mean,
because
it's celebratory. It's
Okay.
Asian.
It definitely is.
Fair.
You know, origin.
Fair.
And it reminds us that some of the best things in life don't have to be American because
It's a really good point.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's actually. Did you just come up with it?
yeah, no, well, I mean,
Or are you writing that down when I saw
we're
you?
talking about 2018.
2019. Before I say it though, as mentioned in the last episode, we all agreed to kind of give each other a challenge of picking a Oscar-winning film
Yes.
in our respective field. So I'm picking a film, the Best Director-winning film,
I'm
right?
picking a best actor film.
Best cinematography film,
Best cinematography.
and best
best
editing.
wardrobe.
Best wardrobe.
It was a weird pick from Austin, but I can't
We're
deny it.
rolling with it.
and then
for
essentially
editing.
the Raw picking a Best Picture winner together.
Yeah, nice.
Or if somebody out there maybe has one.
Yeah, if you guys have a Best Picture winner that we should cover, let us know down in the comments. I think it's the last one, right? Like I think it's in order.
Yeah, we're gonna probably rearrange it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Today we're talking about the Best Director pick.
Yes.
We're talking about Bong Joon Ho's 2019 Parasite.
Wait, do you want to? Speaking
instant
about this year's
classic.
Oscars, do you want to list off the nominations?
Yeah, so the nominations for this year is Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer.
do you want me to give you the list?
Sure, because I know 3 of them. The other 2 are names I just don't remember. But Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon.
Of course.
A fun fact about that, Scorsese has now become the most nominated living director.
Nice.
with 10 nominations. He just passed Spielberg.
Oh, I was about to say
Spielberg has 9, buddy.
Really?
Nice.
I thought Spielberg had more.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Thank you, sir. This is Best Picture, though. This is Best Director. So, yeah. What?
I thought we were doing just best pictures, though, but I guess
No,
for
when
each
we get to
episode-
that episode.
Oh, okay. So
Yes,
best
yeah, buddy.
directors for this Oscar year, 2024.
Best directors. Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, Killers of the Flower Moon. He has 10, and he's the third most nominated director of all time.
Who are the other two?
William Wyler
Okay.
and John Ford, who have 12 and 13. So he's 3
Still has
away,
time.
essentially. Let's hope so.
But only one win.
But only one win. But only one win.
And those two?
I think Billy Wilder's the one with the most wins, if not William Wyler with like 3 wins. Billy Wilder.
By
Something
the
in
way,
that vein.
Scorsese won on the year he shouldn't have won.
Yeah.
Which one was
I mean, I don't know, man. I've grown a lot
Departed?
fonder of The Departed. I
Yeah,
just
but, like,
have.
it? The Departed.
I
I
love
still
The
think he should
Departed.
have won for like Aviator.
Well, he won best cinematography for Aviator.
You know what?
He didn't win.
He didn't win.
I was one of those guys when I first watched it. I was like, okay. Then I watched it like 5 times, and I was like, this is a masterpiece.
What, The Departed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always liked it. I thought it was so plot heavy that I was like, I don't know about this.
I just couldn't get
And,
over Mark Wahlberg's.
Why? What's wrong with him?
No, he's good, but he's just pissed off all the time.
That's the point.
I know.
Hey,
Exactly.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
What are you, one of those health freaks?
Fucking Baldwin.
just
Yo,
couldn't
you
get
guys
past
see
that.
that he got charged? Alec Baldwin?
He is charged?
He's officially charged for manslaughter, involuntary
Why,
manslaughter.
though? Like,
There's a whole thing, man. SAG is actually going to his defense heavy with it.
well, yeah. Like,
It's
Because it doesn't make sense. I
Yeah.
mean,
I think that's the thing. It doesn't make sense to us in the industry, but to people outside, they're
Yeah.
like,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's just do a 1-minute tangent.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
no, because I mean, for anybody who's watching this, that like you said, if you're not in the film scene, then you just think like, oh well, the guy who
he
pulled
should
the-
have checked the gun.
No,
he should
no,
have
the
done
guy
this.
who
No,
pulls
hold
the
on, hold
trigger
on.
Yeah.
should get charged. You know.
To pull the trigger.
Look, man, our
No.
arms kind of specialist on set is Michael Head, and
Oh, yeah.
he's certified. The man has his
Shout
father
out
was
to
a
him.
cop. This man has grown up with gun safety, right? So, he makes sure everybody, man. It doesn't matter who it is, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong in the sense of you checking and being diligent, but there are 10 steps before the actor gets the gun.
A quick
You know.
question. Who do you think is at fault, Delo?
Oh, it's
Is that a bad question? Or who do you
no,
think?
there's-
No,
there's-
it's
there's
the prop
faults.
master and the AD, dude.
It's
Right.
the prop
yeah, the
master.
prop master and the AD.
Not Baldwin, right?
Not
No,
on
not
site.
at
But
all.
thank you, man. I've been reading
That's
so many
why
comments
I
where
just
it's
said
like,
there's 10 steps
doesn't
before
make
the
sense.
gun hits the actor's hands to begin with.
Yeah, because
only
the AD every time on set, I mean, even if there's no weapons or anything, we'll do a safety meeting.
Exactly.
And then just say any safety concerns and issues that day on set. Everybody in the team
This
should
is-
have heard that. Yeah,
Has-
This is what I'm still thrown off by. Number one, there should never be live rounds on a
was
set.
about to
There's
say-
no excuse. Number two, as I understand it, she got shot by blanks. Like at close proximity, they're still deadly.
no, but blanks don't shoot out.
Some do, especially depending on the effect you're trying to get on the gun. There, but again, close
Oh, that kinda
proximity.
changes the things
That's
a
what I'm
little bit.
saying. That's where I'm still lost at. As I understand correctly, they were like these low grade blanks.
That changes a lot. Because at
I-
first
I-
I was like, why even?
No, you shouldn't have live rounds. And by
That's
the
why I'm
way,
with, like,
the
it's the
prop
prop master.
master's dad is like a fucking legend prop master.
Didn't the prop master walk off set before this happened?
No.
Yeah.
Or something like
Okay,
that?
how
No,
about
the girl? No.
Oh, I thought that's what
No,
happened.
she like, no, she fucked up. She's I think she got arrested too. By the way.
Are any of them like claiming like somebody could snuck in?
No. They just I don't know why they used live rounds. It was an accident per se, right?
Definitely the prop master. fault.
But the prop master like loaded the gun. I mean, she's the person in charge of doing that. You know.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, be filming.
And if I'm not mistaken, she did both roles this film. She did the role of prop master and arms. Or what's the right term?
Arms dealer.
Not arms dealer.
no, it's Arm Master.
Arm master. So she did. It's an indie, right? So she did both roles.
Jeez.
So yeah, man.
She's the one at fault. not
We could
Baldwin.
talk more about this at our
That's what I was saying. Just like a 1-minute tangent.
at our Alec Baldwin with The Departed or something. I don't
God.
know.
Okay.
But
So yeah,
other nominees. We're not finished. We only named two.
I know best director.
Anatomy of a Fall. Justine Triet.
I'm actually more excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
I like the
very,
name.
very, very curious.
you watch-
That's actually the
I like the name.
Palme d'Or winner of this year.
Oh, okay. Now
Is
definitely.
is
How many
Anatomy
minutes?
of a Fall.
How many minutes?
Standing ovation, I don't know. What I do know is that Killers and Oppenheimer got the most. So because Mr. West got what 7 minutes?
I'm here for you.
And then Marty
stand
got
with
11,
West.
I think.
Yeah.
How many did Guy Ritchie?
Set yourself up for disappointment, Cos. I'm kidding. I was remotely in my head maybe thinking about watching that.
The Covenant? Or
Yeah, I was like,
same with me. I was like, the Carrier. What? You talking about the Carrier?
Yeah. Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer.
I gotta see it.
And last but not least, one of my favorite pictures of the year that really, really blew my mind, man.
Barbie.
Fucking Barbie. Yorgos Lanthimos is Poor Things. And he's nominated for Best Director as well.
Nice.
Man. But talk about imagination. Talk about creativity. Talk about an arc.
Give me
talk
a
about
quick, what is it about?
Poor Things is about essentially...
We're gonna do an Oscar episode. It's fine.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, my bad.
Oscar episode. Watch Poor Things. We will talk about it.
Did Defoe get a nod?
Defoe did not get a nod.
But Stone did.
But Stone did. And I honestly, I know she's not going to, but I hope she wins.
Like, you'd be happy if she won.
I'd be extremely happy if she won over Lily Gladstone. Lily Gladstone just made history. She was nominated for Best Actress, first Native American woman to do so, third Indigenous woman to do so. So bravo for Lily Gladstone. That's a big deal.
Dude.
And I said it. I said it since
ask
we
a
walked out of the
question?
movies. Lily Gladstone was the standout, even over De Niro, man.
Yes, you in the black and white shirt.
It's white and black. Can
What do you, zebra?
no? You said first. What first?
Native American
Okay.
woman to be nominated
Oh,
for an
so
Oscar.
first Native American and
third
third.
Indigenous woman.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference, right?
So
People
what's the
were
difference?
bitching about that online for the longest time, for like a week. People were bitching that, oh, why is Lily Gladstone saying she's the first Native American when Yelitsa from Roma was nominated too? Because there's a difference. Native American and Indigenous are two different terms. So know the difference so that you don't get
Google it.
thrown off by that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
One's
she's-
region, the other one.
So do you want him to explain for people who don't know?
No, I know, bro. Put me on the spot, bro.
he opened his eyes. I know, bro. No, but yeah. So Lily
Cass
Gladstone,
was
but
like,
still,
I know, bro.
neither the case. Lily Gladstone did amazingly.
Yes,
Everybody that I know that aren't rooting for those two are rooting for Carey Mulligan for Maestro. I
Oh, my
loved
goodness.
her in it. I don't
Yeah,
think she's the best of the
By
year.
the way, can we talk about directing snubs?
Yeah, there's two in my head
Yeah, we'll
I
go
have
2
one,
minutes for the
for
little
sure.
rant.
There's two in my head, but no, we're talking about the nods. We're talking about the
Yeah.
nods, but
Yeah.
pulling it back to directing.
Who,
There's two in my head that didn't get.
I'm pretty sure we have one.
Yeah.
We have one in common for sure.
And I think should have not just got nom but one. But
Bradley Cooper for Maestro did not get nominated for Best Directing. Got nominated for acting, which I think he's gonna win, man.
and
yeah.
I'm still
I
only
think
like,
he's gonna
don't
win.
you think like it was released too late for
For
people
what?
to cherish it?
No, dude, we've been
Maestro
watching it on
came out
Netflix.
in November.
Yeah, Maestro came back in November,
Yeah, but
man.
like Barbie came out like in June, and
So?
Yeah, they
No,
did
no,
get
they,
it.
like,
Right?
they
people are
released it,
familiar with more.
but it's not the people's choice. It's the
Okay, let me just point this
Academies,
out because
yeah.
I don't.
The
I'm pretty sure at some point we'll do a full episode on Maestro. I know we're getting our Oscar episodes.
mad about
I
it.
just
Our
want to
Oscar
mention this.
jollies?
I just want to mention this. This is all I'm gonna mention because we're talking about directing. Okay.
Yeah.
This was a film that was initially going to be directed by Scorsese. Okay, Maestro. We had it in development at Cicalia. He was going to do the film, and then he says, "I kind of want to do The Irishman. I'm going to tackle The Irishman. Let me pass this. Hey, Steven Spielberg, you want to do this thing? Oh man, I love Lenny. Leonard Bernstein. I want to do this thing. I think I'm gonna do West Side Story. They both screened A Star Is Born, and we're like."
This guy has this
Yeah.
guy. This guy could.
Bradley Cooper developed this thing for about 6 years before he even shot it, man. And granted, a lot of this came because of the pandemic and stuff like that. But
that's gonna win for makeup. Like,
yeah, I think so too.
Wait, I thought there was some other really good makeup. No, it was
Barbie.
But Bradley Cooper directed a film produced by Steven Spielberg and Martin Scorsese under their banner, and he had to screen it for them and be like, "How do you do that?" And dude,
That's
but
the pinnacle.
directing merit. Bradley Cooper blew my fucking mind. He didn't do that for me in The Star Is Born. I'll be honest. He did amazingly for his first film. Amazingly. Maestro for his sophomore film. Holy fucking shit,
Yeah, dude.
man. Holy fucking shit. A director will direct films for 20 years before they get to that level of mastery, man.
And you think
Bradley
he's-
Cooper fucking killed, dude.
He could sit
His-
at the
his-
table, or he still needs a little.
He could sit at the table.
He's gonna win
And you
an
know what's
Oscar, dude,
awesome?
at some
Go
point.
to YouTube. If you like Maestro, go to YouTube and watch the interviews he did for Netflix. I'm assuming it's a DGA.
I saw one.
He did an interview with Spielberg. Great fucking interview, about an hour. He did an interview with Alfonso Cuarón. Great fucking interview. And he did an interview with Guillermo del Toro. All three of his heroes, essentially.
Yeah.
And they all and bowed to him on Maestro, man. Like,
He got snubbed so fucking
he got
hard.
snubbed bad, man.
Dude,
Told you guys.
I told Carlos, I was like, not only did he deserve to get nom, but I was like, if he wins, like, I can't even be mad.
Quick. Just maybe a sentence. What was it about it?
I can't explain it to you. The only thing I can
I love
explain
that
it,
answer. That's-
the only thing I can. Oh, what was great about it?
Yeah. Like, what was like? Yo, is that the story?
Essentially, a director's
relationship.
job, I think, is to knit the sweater so tightly wound that the holes that do exist on it don't matter. And
You could.
this film is not only so tightly wound. If it were a sweater, it's not only so tightly wound, but he used the right colors. He used the right texture. He used the right material. I'm using a metaphor, right? But everything about this film not only felt artistically intentional, but there was only one off piece. There's a reason I think he didn't get nominated. Those club scenes at the end, man. I know they were honest. I know they were. It took me out of it for a second.
It did?
Yeah, the club stuff.
Oh, at the very end, yeah.
The modern stuff, I get it. I understand the sexual freedom, him, exploring his sexuality and stuff like that. That's cool. It just didn't feel right.
Would you have been happy if it would have ended at the final performance?
Absolutely.
Like, final performance,
The,
cut
him
back.
I haven't
teaching,
seen
him
it.
teaching
I
in
think I know what you guys
that
are
classroom, in that what is it, like a amphitheater thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
Right there.
Because I mean, your closing shot should really kind of embody. I mean, what is the final message on this guy?
Yeah.
In fact, I was really hoping that almost like that interview would have been that kind of final.
Oh,
moment.
that would have
And-
been the perfect moment too. Yeah.
There was a moment that they cut on the interview, and
Yeah.
I was like, "That if that's it."
Any
that's-
questions?
Yeah. No, and it's like, stop it there. Stop
they
it.
kept
You're
going?
good.
They kept
They
going.
kept
They
going
were
just
going
a
for a beat.
little
We're going for a
further.
beat. They drove in with a modern car. Modern for his lifetime. He died in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, they changed up the music.
changed up the music.
It was poppy.
I think that's why.
Maybe that
Here's
was a
another
director's cut
thing.
or something.
He was going in the right direction for the whole thing, and people don't realize this to an extent. This is just as much his wife's film, as much as it is Lenny's. That's why we get that shot at the end of her,
Yeah.
because she's almost witnessing, and so what was the point of that final thing,
Hold on, don't spoil it. 'Cause a lot of people
You know
haven't
what I'm
seen it,
saying?
and I haven't seen it.
of that final club sequence? If it's just as much her story,
Yeah.
how does this tailor around her arc?
If only we had that club scene earlier to show
Yeah.
kind of the extent
Before the piano.
Yeah, how far he's gone in to this whole thing,
And
then that would have been a bigger snapback. But let's
And
talk
if I
about
and if,
that.
hold on, the final
Yeah,
note,
yeah,
final note on
damn,
this.
I wanna
If I had
split
to
this
say
one.
anything about it, that's where his story with her ended, as he's telling the reporters,
And that's when his
and now his kind of personal thing before he died
started.
starts pretty
Yeah.
late. We'll
Yeah.
see. But snub
snub.
for
What's
directing.
number
What's your,
two?
yeah, what's your other song?
Celine song
For
Past Lives.
Past life.
Celine song
Oh,
should have gotten
yeah.
the nomination, and it was her sophomore film too. As well, she did a few before that. No, I think this was her second film actually. Past Lives.
do we usually get 5 for directing?
We in that vein, 5 to 7, 4 1 year, a couple years. 5 is pretty general, pretty standard.
You know, it's a little crazy thing. I never knew Greta was a actress.
Oh yeah, man! I
she's like-
knew Greta as an actress before I ever knew her as anything
saw
else.
Way back with Ben Stiller and this
Greenberg,
Greenberg.
yeah.
Like that's
And
what,
I think
2010.
I think she co-wrote that too.
Bro, she's a great actress.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude, I never knew that was her because I had seen her in so many films. Like, wow.
You guys are gonna
director.
laugh at me. My first introduction to Greta Gerwig was Side by Side,
Oh,
Oh.
that's
and
when
they
you learn-
introduced her as an actress.
You know, funny enough, when I watched it again, I was like, wait, is that Greta?
It's
Like,
Greta.
See, and I never.
And
knew.
don't get me wrong, man. Like her cinematic language has always been strong. She's
Yeah.
always known what she's
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. She's married to a phenomenally talented filmmaker also, who co-wrote Barbie, by the way.
One of my favorite.
Yeah, one of your favorite filmmakers, Noah Baumbach. I say co-wrote in quotations, but because I don't know, man. I don't know
We'll
how to
talk
feel
about it
about
on the
Barbie.
Oscar episode.
But anyways, let's
Yeah.
wrap it back around to directing. And let's wrap it back around to today's pick. We're going to talk about Bong Joon Ho's Parasite. Bong Joon Ho fucking made Oscar history with this film.
Absolutely.
In
Instant
a lot of
classic.
ways, in more ways than one. For instance, this was the first Korean film to win an Academy Award ever. This was the first film to win Best Film and Best International Film in the same ceremony, in the same year.
Roma should have been first.
Yeah. And this was the first...
Roma the year before.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did hear those, yeah.
And this was the first time a Korean director wins for best directing, period. And winning best directing, best picture, and stuff like that. So he broke records on those
Leaps and
fronts.
bounds, yeah.
I mean, and the film was only really nominated for 6 Oscars, and it won 4 out of the 6.
Yeah.
It won best directing, best picture, best international, best original screenplay. And the 2 it didn't win, which is kind of sucks. Best production design and
Editing.
best editing. It didn't win those 2.
I mean, it lost to Ford v Ferrari. I'm okay with that.
And for best production design?
For production design, it lost to Once Upon a Time.
In Hollywood? Yeah.
Oh, man.
But no, man. I don't
No,
After
yeah,
reading
no,
some of
come
the stuff
on. I
about
mean-
this one, yeah.
I think this... Well, okay. At the very least, production design-wise, this one had more symbolism.
I just think maybe for fleshing out the world in...
That's
That's
fine.
Yeah.
But for symbolism, to drive the story forward... The production design drove the story forward in this film.
Yeah.
That's rare, man. That's rare for a production design to do that, I think, for a film. And to do it so strongly. But Bong Joon Ho, man, has become one of the modern greats who has had the stamp of approval of everybody who matters in cinema.
From this one alone or for past?
No. Past films. I mean, Bong has always kind of been a sensation in directing in Korea.
Right.
However, it wasn't until about 2009. In fact, his last Korean film was 2009 with Mother. And then every film after that was American. And then he only came back to Korean cinema with Parasite.
Okay.
You know? And again, leaps and bounds, right? But I mean, everybody's heard of films like Snowpiercer, which was probably one of his most famous films.
wow.
With Chris Evans,
I'm embarrassed I didn't
Jennifer
know that.
Connelly. It's a great film.
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
It's
really good.
It's good.
Big Chris Evans thing.
My personal favorite of his, outside of Parasite's my favorite, but Okja.
Okja.
Okja's fucking terrific, man. Netflix picture. It actually, the boy is in that film as well. But it has American actors. It's Tilda Swinton. It's Jason Schwartzman.
Paul Dano.
Yeah, Paul Dano's in it. Yeah,
Paul
man.
Dano's in it?
Paul Dano's one of the main leads, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great film. Okja.
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Damn, I gotta see it now.
Oh, dude, Jake Gyllenhaal's role is fun, man.
Really?
It's super fun. But Bong Joon Ho, like I said, has gotten this kind of stamp of approval. So Parasite just fucking floored everybody that year, including me. And mind you, this was the year that The Irishman was nominated for everything. And I still sided with Parasite on most cases, man. Parasite,
Do you want to hear the best pictures for that year?
yeah.
Let's see.
It
Or
was
best
Parasite-
directors, right?
Okay. So directors that year was obviously Bong Joon Ho, No Scorsese with Irishman, Todd Phillips with Joker, Tarantino with Once Upon a Time, and
Damn.
Sam Mendes with 1917.
That's a heavy.
I lost all respect for Sam Mendes during that Oscars.
I agree. Here's the cool thing about Todd Phillips, who we talked about Joker on this podcast, right?
That episode's not out yet.
Oh yeah, we have it in the back burner.
We will talk about Joker on this podcast. Todd Phillips went up to Bong and said, I watched this film 3 times and it still blows my mind. Like I need to ask you so many questions. Like Todd Phillips went up to Bong Joon Ho and Bong Joon Ho says that when that happened that his face flushed. You know?
Damn.
You
Dude,
know?
that's a
And
compliment
Todd
of
Phillips isn't
compliments.
even, you know.
Hey. He's
Yeah.
he's
No,
getting,
but the
he's
fact
getting up
that-
there. He's
I
climbing.
mean, the fact that like you are next to other directors
Yeah.
nominated
Yeah.
for Oscars
Yeah.
that are supposed to be at the top of their
Yeah,
game.
yep.
And they're giving you like the respect of like, that was amazing. And I mean, I remember that Oscar year, we were all just cheering for the fact that Parasite was getting so much love. But
I remember that. We were at Head's house.
yeah, we were at Head's house.
And everybody just jumped up and cheered.
No, yeah, we're super excited for it, and I also remember that you would see that every time he'd get an award, he would always go and say like, "Hey, I am standing on the shoulders of giants, and I just want to like pay my homage
He's a student.
to you know,
Yeah,
the
so-
great like Martin Scorsese, who I'm just honored to be here in the same room with, you know." And I mean, you could just see that everybody
Except Sam Mendes.
except Sam Mendes.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
I'm kind of lost on that.
So the Golden Globes came about naturally right before the Oscars.
Oh, you're taking it way back.
Well, that's really when it happened.
Yeah, he did it at the Oscars too.
Yeah, no, but it was
No,
really
but it's because
at the Globes.
the Globes 17 won, right?
17
Yeah,
for Best Director.
1971. And I remember it was a big kind of like stink. I mean, you know, and then when he went to the Oscars, I think he was just so like, I've made the best piece of cinema ever. And then when everybody was like all blown away by Parasite, then it was kind of like, oh, everybody's cheering for him. Scorsese stood up.
Dude,
Everybody.
when they announced Bong as the winner for Best Director, every director, because you know how they always show everybody?
Yeah.
Everybody got up and cheered, and Mendes was like,
Yeah, and what's more is
He's gonna.
something I appreciated because Ricky tells me this all the time. I like I said, I screened Parasite 3 times that year in the theaters. Not to mention probably another 2 times at home. I watched it twice in color. I saw it the 3rd time in black and white.
Oh, there's a black and white version.
There's a black and white version, which is also on the Criterion. So get yourself the Criterion. And then I told these guys, I got to screen Parasite for you because fucking Parasite's amazing. I was still living with my grandma's, and I had a little kind of makeshift projector theater thing there.
we watched Irishman first.
We watched The Irishman, and then we watched The Irishman in the theaters also.
Me, you, and Sandra, I think, went to go see it at the theater.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
screened it at home.
You still had
screened
energy
for other people.
for-
Well, we screened The Irishman first.
No, we screened Parasite first because
did
I
we?
remember.
Oh, smart.
I remember I
Smart,
got the
smart.
first half of Irishman, and then I had to dip.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So Parasite, Ricky was there, and I tell Ricky says this all the time. He's like, dude, he's like, that's kind of what I respect about when it comes to looking at films this way. Naturally, I'm gonna want to root for Scorsese, right? Scorsese, as mentioned many times in this podcast. But when this shit dropped, man, when Parasite came out,
We all knew.
there's no way, man. There's no way to
Exactly.
justify that type of performance as a director. And it's like, no, man. It's just, he takes it. What's even more amazing about director Bong, and I'm not being racist or anything. That's what they call him, director Bong.
Oh, yeah.
Go around, ask around, director Bong.
You're good.
Director Bong
Racist.
goes around, gets his Oscar. Everybody claps. Everybody cheers. And he turns the focus back around and says, no, we clap for the master right now. We clap for Scorsese.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And everybody standing ovation claps for Scorsese and says, this is why I'm in cinema. This man, there's no other person that reveres cinema more than this man. So let's clap for the master. He called him the master. You know.
Just when you think like Marty might have like, oh, this is the peak. Another peak right
and
there.
then Marty was
beautiful.
like thank you, but he was like
That's
no,
beautiful.
like
but
Bong
the
Joon.
compliment, that went so far.
Yeah, and then I'll end the podcast with a couple quotes from Bong, and I know one of them is your favorites, but we'll talk about that at the end.
yeah, dude,
And the other one that there's a post scriptum that Scorsese sent a letter to Bong after the
yeah.
Oscars,
I'm
and
telling
we'll
you,
talk about
dude.
that at the end. We'll talk about it at the end, but
I don't know. What's
yeah,
better.
Parasite just blew me out of the water, blew a lot of people out of the water. Some of our most respected kind of cinephiles, and you know what I love about Bong is sure he's working on his next picture.
What's the next picture called? If you know it so well.
I don't know.
If you Give me
Wow.
1 second.
I actually don't know. What I do know is that
a mystery.
he basically says Oscars don't matter.
He's got Mikey 17,
Oh, that's right. But that's it's like a Netflix picture or something, no?
I think. And
I
then
think it's Robert Pattinson
he
starring
has
in that
another
film.
animated one that's in development.
Yeah, I think
Oh yeah, I
Pattinson's
remember
starring in that
seeing
film.
the.
Mikey 17 is a Pattinson.
yeah. But he basically said
With Ruffalo too.
nice. He's basically said Oscars what? Oscars who? Like when I go back into my writing room to write my next script, it feels the same. Like nothing's changed. I still have to go and write the next picture. Like that's big, man. That's fucking
Don't get too
humbling, you know?
comfortable, Yeah.
And yeah. So like he goes back and goes down to the trenches again and gets it, and that's to be respected, man. That's to be
Absolutely.
respected. So My kind of long-winded way to say that this film is just terrific. Do we categorize this as a thriller? Do we categorize this as a drama? Do we categorize this as
Some even said
Comedy.
horror.
somebody had? Yeah, a lot of people pointed it that this is a horror film. You know,
I
way
put it
back
with
when.
a horror with a blend of a little bit of comedy and thriller
Yeah,
sprinkled on top
yeah,
of it.
neon, man.
But there's some satire humor in there. Like you're just like,
It-
what?
I-
Yeah,
there's all
definitely
kinds
some
of
dark humor
humor.
in
There's
there.
everything. I mean, it's just
There's
such
everything.
a
Yeah.
there's such a deep layering to this film, and I mean, I think something great about you were touching at the beginning of like the historic value of this. It's also, I think, the first non-English film to win Best Oscar or Best Picture at the Oscars.
That couldn't.
No.
Yeah.
Like
Oh no.
Like,
yes. It's the first non-English, non-British. Oh man.
Yeah, Parasite's the only foreign film to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
The Artist was the first silent film.
The Artist.
But it was a silent film.
No, and then also at the very end, he does speak English, so doesn't matter.
Well, I guess so.
No,
I
but
mean,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, it was the first. It was the first non-English speaking film. Speaking
Wow.
film to win. Yeah, I can't do it either.
I know where you're getting at.
Oh, can I get there?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm agreeing with you.
no, yeah, it was.
it's
it was
just a good picture.
No, I was just gonna say that it was the first non-English speaking film to win Best Picture, and I remember this year that it was the first big time for a lot of people to really go and see, a foreign film. And I think you kept saying it a lot that year that if you can get past like the little bar at the bottom,
the
the
most
quote.
did I
beautiful,
spoil it? I'm so
famous-
sorry.
No,
But,
no, it's.
I mean, we
Yeah,
can open with that, right? The
No,
Bong
yeah.
Joon Ho at the Oscars said,
if you can get past the barrier of the 1 inch, you be a.
if you can get past the 1 inch barrier of subtitles, you will be exposed to much better cinema.
And I mean, for this film to do that for, I think
The world.
the world,
world, yeah.
was really impressive because so many people, like, my family included, I remember we would always say, like, I don't want to have to watch a foreign film and I'm just going to be reading the whole time.
Oh
and all
man,
that
I got
kind of
into
stuff.
an argument with my boss at work
Yeah.
yesterday
Yeah, I've got
about
into
that
an
because
argument with some people.
they named some film and we're like, yeah, we watched it dubbed, and I'm like, no, don't watch it dubbed. Every dubbed experience I've heard from anybody
die a little bit
is
inside.
it hurts, right? I remember even when we were doing Squid Game.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, like you watched the dub like one episode and you were like, dude, don't watch the dub.
I
It's
didn't get
fucking
past like
terrible.
5 minutes.
No, I got in a
And-
fight also with that one.
Yeah, but I told my boss that, and she was like, "No, but then you have to read, and you're not really watching the film." That's like, no, that's not really how it works. You have to give
Yeah.
it a chance. So,
Yeah.
Do
what
people
I was
like read really slow? Is that why?
I mean,
maybe.
that and then there is that kind of whole, you're just like going back and forth, you're scanning. But I mean,
Yeah,
even if you're doing that, you can always go back to a film. You can rewatch it a couple times. I think watch it pure
Yeah.
in the first like here's what I'll
Language
do.
it came in.
Here's what I'll do because I look at cinematography, so it's
Yeah,
very
go for it.
much I want to focus on the visuals that are there. The first time I see a film like this, I want to watch it in the way it's intended or
Right.
in the language and everything, so I can get the tonality. Because I mean, also look at like actors, right? Your performance, the tone,
Oh,
everything,
my-
they do all that. And for you to just kind of like clean the slate
almost
and then just
disrespectful.
throw somebody else's voice
What's
there.
this?
Almost
Oh, that's
disrespectful.
interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
yeah, because I bet you that actor.
That's
went
not their
mud-
performance anymore.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's just
By
some
the
guy
way,
trying.
yeah. Let's talk about something when we get to the actors part, because talk about snubs, man.
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about snubs.
I wanted to ask something about that. I think I forgot.
Well, I want to piggyback off what you said about.
Yeah,
I'll just
the world
finalize
thing.
by saying one big moment that stood out to me, at least for when this film came out, was that I remember showing it to my parents and them just complaining like, it's a foreign film, I gotta read, and I don't want to have to go through that. I just want to like have a day where I just sit back
same.
and relax. And
Austin had a similar experience with his dad.
And the thing is, I feel like there's two things that are wrong with that. The first thing is that one, they're not giving it a chance and they're completely misinterpreting what's going to happen if they watched it. sucked.
Right.
The second thing is that I think if you're watching a film and you just want this kind of turn your brain off experience and not think about
This
it,
isn't the film for you.
It ain't the film.
this ain't the film, but also
No.
like it completely destroys the art form that we're in. This whole idea of
Okay.
if you're going to be watching a film and have no mind, no thought into what you're
Yeah.
experiencing,
Yeah,
it's already going to
diminishes your-
disrespect everybody's work that went into that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
films like this really force people to pay attention. After they
Yes,
watched it,
absolutely.
my family wouldn't stop talking about it. They were
Oh,
like, "This
great,
was so
great.
wonderful. We were so caught up. We didn't get lost at all, and all the twists and turns, you were right there with them." So,
Look,
yeah.
And why do you
fantastic.
think that works? Because I'm one of those guys that
I
take off the subtitles.
I can tell you why.
Why did it work so well for somebody like me that, like like your mom, my mom were like, I don't want to read.
Well,
From the first 2 minutes,
Okay.
I was like, I'm reading this.
Yeah.
let's.
I can tell you why.
Why did it work so well?
I can tell you why.
I
Because
have my thoughts, but go ahead.
in my experience,
Tap
can I talk now, guys? Can I? Yeah. You're
No, I
gonna
just
point that out.
muted
I'm
you.
gonna
You
point
can't
that
talk.
out.
Sorry.
Did
Yeah,
you
like,
really?
so oh my bad.
I did for a good second.
In my experience,
Yeah.
our
no,
quote,
my bad. No, yeah.
our quote, right? The quote of the 1 inch barrier
My bad. That was my bad.
has been proven true time and time and time again.
Go ahead. Give me 3 more films that I care about.
Cinema
That
Paradiso.
you care about?
Yeah.
Good one.
Roma, Cinema Paradiso.
I don't think he's seen Roma.
Oh,
I haven't seen Roma.
Cinema Paradiso.
watch it right now.
8
while
and
we're
a
doing
half.
the podcast.
8.5.
In the mood for love.
About shoe size.
In the
Austin.
mood
We're
for
talking
love.
about
In the mood for
movies.
love.
Hey, maybe after the podcast. Okay.
Look, it's a quote that's been proven true for me time and time again, and I think the most powerful cinema transcends language, and that's why I think it works.
That's a clip right there, dude.
The most powerful cinema transcends language barriers. This is a dream for a director, man. Let me tell you why.
Is it?
Let
Oh,
me
my
tell you
bad.
why. To be able to make a universal theme in this scenario, right? Money, class.
Yeah.
That's huge. And that's universal. Everybody in the world understands being broke and being rich.
Yeah.
And desiring what the rich have. And I mean, it's universal.
Also, I think a great film you could watch with, no sound,
I was about
no
to say
language,
that. I was about to
everything,
say that.
and just through
It's one of those.
visuals alone,
It's
you can
interesting.
understand every single beat of what's going on. When you watch this, I mean, my friend, when I graduated, gifted me a book that was the storyboards for Parasite to
Oh,
show
you're gonna
kind of.
bring it,
Yeah, I was gonna bring it, but it's
storyboard.
the
Put your
story.
hands out. I'm going to Photoshop it in.
Quick little.
Yeah. Shout out to Noel and Reyes, but
Yeah.
they got me that book, and I mean, you see how much intentionality is in each and every shot and each and every moment. That, like, again, you could watch this without the subtitles, just going based off of the action of the characters and the camera and everything, and you would easily understand everything that's going on.
I
gotta try
envy
that.
/
Definitely gotta
understand from Bong about directing is I don't necessarily storyboard my films to the end. I storyboard my take. This is my process. I like this process.
How do you do
I
it?
storyboard my take on it, what I see, how I see it. And then I make my DP storyboard his take on it.
Oh.
And then we'll come together and we say,
He'll tell me I'm wrong.
No. But I
not
mean,
you
joking.
to see if you guys are on the same, and then if you
yeah,
guys
I
are
would just want to see how you see it.
You know what?
Aesthetically,
I love that.
and we get kind of a marriage of both, right? But
That's a good one.
something that I read that was interesting about the storyboards. Bong storyboards his films so that he doesn't have to shoot coverage. That's why he storyboards.
He
his
shoots for
films.
edit.
No,
Wow.
Yeah, he does.
no.
Yes.
He storyboards his film so that he doesn't have to shoot coverage. Shooting for edit is shooting coverage, essentially.
No, like every shot that he got was intentional for the edit.
Yeah.
Shoot for it. It's that.
So meaning he's not gonna waste on anything that's not on storyboard.
No,
Yes.
shooting for edit is not that.
Yeah,
shooting
it
for
is.
no, shooting for edit no because shooting
because
for edit
you know
you're
it's
not
gonna cut here.
Usually, shooting for edit is not shooting a full take. That's not what Bong Joon does. Bong Joon will shoot an entire sequence in multiple facets. Think about the Steadicam thing. You really think he's just going to shoot for 10 seconds down the basement
I
stairs?
get
No, that's not that. That is not shooting for edit. Shooting for edit is, all right, I need you to say 2 lines and then we're going to cut. And then, hey, I need you to say 2 lines and then we're going to cut. It's not getting the whole interpretation of the scene. That's what shooting for edit is.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
However, storyboarding,
Which is kind of
so that you don't have to shoot coverage. So I don't have to get my medium wides and my close-ups, but I can get the camera in motion doing A, B, or C. That's how I visualize the shots.
Oh.
So that's why he storyboards, essentially. But yeah, it's different from shooting for edit, but it's much more intentional. Hey, Robert Rodriguez shoots for edit. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm
that's
just saying.
that's how he grew up with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
He had
well,
to-
well, I
little
mean-
bursts of film, right,
Exactly.
to be
Yeah.
able to make shit happen. But no, the Bong is again something I envy because he will almost like hoard his storyboards. Like this is my Bible. I know what shots I want where specifically and how. Whereas I kind of like to explore that in pre and find it in the interpretation of all of my department heads. How do you see this thing? Well, I see it that way. Okay, well, I see it this way. So what's that marriage and how do we find it?
Interesting.
Especially in the shots. So otherwise, I mean, the law talks about sometimes he's worked with directors who are super technical, where he doesn't really have a voice, and that kind of defeats the purpose of having a cinematographer, right? They're gonna interpret the film aesthetically. And by the way, this DP, this film did not get nominated for cinematography, and I wonder why. This is the first film since, man, I honestly think it was The Departed that got nominated for one for Best Director without Best Cinematography not even being nominated. So I wonder if that's
Well,
justified, if that's
let's go back to like storyboards, right?
Yeah.
And how he's the one kind of crafting the shots. I mean, there's certain films that when you watch them, you can see the cinematographer's voice, and
this
then
is the
there's
third collaboration with the cinematographer. By the way.
yeah. But I'll say that I think there's certain films where you can see the cinematographer's voice, and then I mean the director's voice and the mise en scène. But
Is there a fear of overpowering?
that's what I'm thinking, because especially
Okay.
when I look at his storyboards,
Oh.
Bongs,
Okay.
like these are his shots. I think the cinematographer, the kind of his crafting is maybe the technical mastery and also like the lighting compositions, because it's beautiful. Everything's beautiful looking, but it really is Bong's like composition. And that's the thing, because we're gonna talk about
Man, there are directors who shit. It's so broad of a statement, but there are directors who, it's their shot, right? But there are cinematographers who it's their shot, like
Yeah.
Chivo. You know when it's Chivo shooting, but you know when it's Scorsese directing.
yeah.
I don't know where Bong sits on that spectrum.
And honestly, I
don't
feel
yet.
like
Granted, I haven't seen all of his films, so
I'd say I'm not at that level. I don't know. Like you definitely like.
oh man, think
you were showing us that the cinematographer for I think he showed us on social media, but the cinematographer for La La Land and
Linus Sandgren.
and for Saltburn.
Yep.
Oh,
Same
same
person,
color palettes.
and when you look, the palettes are the same, and the shots are super similar.
Yeah,
and I
that's
mean,
true.
it shows you that.
I wouldn't say that. I think they went a little far on that end, like that the shots are so similar. I don't think so.
No, similar in color tone.
Yeah,
Color
definitely,
tone.
definitely color.
Composition,
Definitely color.
different.
Yeah.
Because one's musical, and I think that one had more of
Maybe it's the Chazelle's, right?
Yeah,
Those
it
were
had more
Chazelle shots.
Chazelle's texture. But,
So interesting,
but
man.
Again, cinematography is also the art of lighting. So I mean, it makes sense that in there.
I know when Robbie Robertson is lighting. I'll tell you that. I know when Robbie Robertson is lighting. I know when Roger Deakins is lighting.
When
I envy
Robbie
you
Malik
guys.
is lighting.
Robbie Malik.
Yeah, because he's an actor. He doesn't know how to light.
I was like, what the fuck? Who's Robbie Malik?
By the way,
You don't know who Robbie Malik is?
Who's Robbie Malik?
That's the guy who played
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury.
He was a scientist in Oppenheimer.
His name's not Robbie Malik.
What is it?
It is Malik. It's not Robbie.
What is his first name?
Rami. Rami. R-A-M-I. Rami
that's what I
Malik.
said,
You
Rami
said
Malek.
Robbie.
No, Rami
B.
Malik.
I heard
That's what
B.
he said. Joe Mantegna.
Robbie
Don't-
By the
Malik.
way, he used the same DP he used for Snowpiercer.
Yeah, I think that was his first collaboration with him. He's done 3 pictures with him.
Hong Kwang Pio. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that.
What's the translation on that?
Sounds right.
No one asked what's Carlos Del Torre translated to. Don't do it for his name.
No, because again, he did American Pictures until up till 2009.
You're asking the translation of his name?
Oh, that was the name of the DP?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the name of a film.
That's what I
I'm
was
sorry.
saying, like,
I'm sorry.
nobody-
I'm sorry. What other film did he do then? He did 3 with him so far.
De la Torre. What does that translate to?
Of the Tower.
Of
Mother.
the Tower.
Mother was his first?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I
dude.
did Snowpiercer and then the Parasite with him.
Wow, man, that's a long gap.
Yeah.
2009 to 2016 to 2019? Well, 3 years ain't so bad, but 7 years.
Snowpiercer's 13.
Oh, 13. So 6 years. Yeah,
years.
man. Well,
I mean, just to.
For pre.
5-year gaps, essentially. Wow, it's interesting.
I mean, some people need those, man. Just to.
He thought about
Okay.
this film in 2015.
We're
That was when the idea came out, and he finished the script in 3 months. And then this film was shot in 77 days, man. That's his trajectory. I think Bong Joon Ho is the Spielberg of Korea, of Korean cinema.
No. Speaking of Spielberg, what do you think Spielberg would rate this film 45 minutes into the episode?
45 minutes in? Sorry, Lalo, your final thought before we get into ratings.
I like cameras and I like movies.
You were about to say something.
Spill it.
I was just gonna ask, but I'll save it for. I'll put a very firm pin in it.
Okay.
But let
You'll
me,
be the first.
how about we just shoot ratings around and then we can get into it.
Okay. It looks like we can't take the traditional route of ratings,
know, bro.
Mr. Rating. Mr.
Who
Rating.
do you want to start?
Always go first.
No,
No, but no matter what direction I go in, you have to go second.
Just go and tell me one.
Okay.
All
Let's start with Casado.
Oh, well then let me make my point then, and then we'll go into rating. I'm sorry, audience members.
Okay.
No, what I was gonna say is that do you feel like with this film, because again we're talking about voices, and I mean I already got my pick for cinematography. I know it's this voice is really carrying the film. When it comes to directing, I mean, do you feel like this is, how would I define it? Is this what mastering the art form of directing looks like?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because
it's
I
pretty damn
think
close
the
to
art of
perfection.
directing is the composite of all of the other art forms, right? It's because if I don't let the voice of the cinematographer shine,
Yeah.
I'm ultimately muting one. I'm shooting myself in the foot, really, because I'm muting one of the most important aspects of cinema, right?
And we've had that talk before. I remember you and me, especially after working on some early short films, it was kind of like, I just remember telling you, like, well, what is it that the director does and what is it that, like, I do? Because especially, like, my first experience DPing with you, it was this feeling of, like, there's so many people that did so many things, and without them, everything would have meant nothing, that it really feels like, what did I do in the whole scheme of things? And, quoting the great actor... John Eric Castro, like, did I just get lost in the sauce? Like, what's going on? And I was gonna say, do you feel that just like
Yes. And that, but again, that's a really broad statement, right? Getting lost in the sauce. It's like, well, how did it cultivate everything, right? Let's just go into that example. Let's lean into the skit a little bit.
Yeah.
A good sauce, a good tomato sauce, a good
meatballs.
sauce. Yes, a good sauce for your
sauce.
pasta, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna taste the tomato overpowering the garlic and the garlic overpowering the tomato. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to, and if you do, it's kind of a bad sauce.
the salt,
Right?
the pepper.
It's not gonna overpower. It's all gonna work in tandem, and it's the director's job to make sure it works in tandem. So, for instance, yes, you can definitely tell when it's a director directing specific things or stylistically, right?
Yeah.
You can tell Scorsese. By the way, Scorsese has stayed away from oneers for a long time now because he knew that became his thing. He didn't want it to become his thing, right? The Scorsese oneer, the Tarantino pop zoom. Stylistically, it's a director directing that.
Tarantino feet shot.
The Tarantino feet shot.
The
But think
Wes
about
Anderson symmetrical
The
composition.
Guy Ritchie
Go ahead.
gambling.
you know
Gambling
right? You know the voice.
Yeah.
You know the voice. In the I've seen maybe 4 other Bong Joon Ho films. None of them feel the same.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I say he's the Spielberg of Korean cinema, because when it's Spielberg directing, but none of his films are really the same.
But here's the thing, though. Awesome that he does 4 different ones of different styles, but do they all hit?
Oh, absolutely. They all hit in different ways.
Damn,
They
so
all
he is a
really do
master
hit in
then.
different. No, he
He's
does. That's
mastering
why I
his
say this
craft.
is mastering the craft of directing, because he's allowing. And he was bummed, man. He was super pissed off when cinematography didn't get nominated. He was pissed when editing didn't win. He was pissed when production design didn't win, because those 3 things made the film.
So who's gone?
Nobody.
Why?
Because he brought up
I had a
an
question.
interesting point.
Yeah,
but I do
question.
think this is what mastering directing looks like. Absolutely.
Is this the gold star, gold standard for what it means to do good directing?
Oh,
To
bro.
do good directing, you need big balls.
To get big balls,
And
you need good
this,
cinematographer. Ratings. Who do you want to go first?
Caveman.
I know.
Wait, has Castro played that caveman
I
game?
don't think so. We should play it with him. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it called? Caveman vocabulary.
Bing bong.
Caveman poetry. Caveman poetry.
Yeah.
And what is it? Just kind of like.
Oh
what
no,
it
it's
sounds
No,
like,
it's
or what?
Neanderthal poetry.
Neanderthal poetry.
You ever played Taboo?
Remember what that one is? I've heard it for sure.
Oh, well, maybe
You have to. All you need to know is that basically I need you to say a word, but I can only describe that word using one syllable words. So instead of being able to tell you like a campfire is like, oh, it's a
Fire.
fireplace in a campsite, I'd have to be like hot
Fire.
circle.
No,
Oh, fuck.
fire's
I
too
can say
It's kind of like charades, but just dumber.
yeah.
Yes.
I bought it.
My bad. No, I'm down to play that.
No, you don't.
Anyways,
Friendship over. Anyway,
Yeah, I think to be a good director means you have to understand. Tarantino says this all the time, man. Tarantino says you don't have to be a master technician in any of the fields. You have to hire good people for that.
Ooh.
You know, you have to hire the best people to work in your departments. And Scorsese too, man. It always baffles me. Like I've rewatched the Scorsese masterclass like 5 times in the last 5 years.
same.
And Scorsese, like when they ask him about lighting, he's like, I don't know. I
I've
don't know
seen
what
his
that
interviews.
light is. I don't know what that
Emails.
It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, emails.
His
scare
emails
me.
scare him. It doesn't
Emails?
matter. It
You
doesn't
haven't seen
matter.
that video, Castro?
I think I've seen it because I think it's all around that. Yeah.
It's just Scorsese is in an interview and he's like,
I only got into emails this year. I think he's with an interview with Timothée.
yeah, he's like, emails, they scare me. I've only started emailing people this year, and he's like, I go to the CC and I see all these names. Like, who are these people? What do they want? Yeah.
But yeah, I think the art of directing is that. I mean, it's understanding that whoever you're hiring is perfectly capable of doing what your vision entails for the picture, and making sure that their voice shines through. Because if they don't, why did you pick them? You picked them for a reason. That includes the cast, by the way.
So if,
I'll tell you this: Parasite, Wolf of Wall Street are on my screen when I'm writing, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
Parasite, just for the whole. Wait, but if you want to.
Yeah. You're going ratings first, anyway. So
Well,
we'll
with
go
my
that
rating
route.
first is I'm kind of embarrassed that, man, I've never seen a Korean film. I've just, that 1-inch barrier. I'm ashamed to say it, but I would skip those movies. I am glad that I saw this film because it just taught me, like, there's way better cinema out of the
Castro.
States.
don't worry, 1 inch can be a lot.
For a lot of
it's-
people, it's plenty, man.
And it's intimidating, okay?
It is intimidating.
It
That's the
works
problem.
No, yeah, and
Yeah.
Remember the first
Just from
time I saw
seeing
1
it,
inch and I got scared.
this is probably like my third time seeing it. I still did not notice a lot of things. Man, beautiful writing, beautiful directing.
What'd you think when the light bulbs hit?
Well, I'm trying to go back to the first time I saw it.
Because I know that was one of the things that you sleep on, and then like the first time you see like, oh, they're controlling the light bulbs downstairs, like that just kind of.
Respect.
It had been a while since I've seen this, so I kind of forgot what was going on there.
Oh man, that's such an interesting moment, man.
But to me, I'll go into the characters. I think the character development for the dad, man, you could see it. Like obviously the brother, the sister, but Mr. Kim, such a complex development in his story, man. Because he goes from he's a dad who's trying to do better for his family, and at the end you can slowly start to see that. All right, this guy's paying me, but he's disrespecting me. I'm part of the lower class. He's showing me that I'm part of the lower class.
It's building up in him.
It's building up in him, and you could see it. Even at the end, like, he's just red, like,
It built up so much in him that it mattered more than the life of his daughter.
almost to the point where I'm noticing, like, why didn't the other actors not notice, right? Like, real life. Like if it's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he does just such a good job of threading that fine line of, I'm still working for you. When they're in the Indian suits.
Uh-huh.
You could tell right there, he's like, something's going to happen here. I
Oh
don't know.
man, I let's talk about that moment for a minute. I really love that moment. You know why? Because when they have the headgear and he's kind of like, yeah, do what you want.
Exactly.
And then he notices the actor's song, the dad. He notices that they're connecting. Oh, yeah, what are you gonna do? The wife is forcing me into this. He's like, well, yeah, because you love her, right? And he thinks I'm gonna connect with this guy. But the guy, the rich guy, he's basically saying, no, there's still a line here.
Yeah.
You still work for me.
I'm paying you extra.
Yeah.
Like, even though we're having
because
fun at a
his whole
party.
thing is, I hate people who cross the line.
Oh,
I hate
exactly
people who
right.
cross
Because
the line.
was he?
That's such a big metaphor, right?
Right,
The
right.
whole idea of gatekeeping class levels, and you got to
Even then, like, hey, no, we're not having a moment as friends here.
Oh,
We're having a
okay,
moment as employer and employee.
I got it right, then.
And
I
you're
was
getting
like,
paid extra for it.
whoa.
And what's more is, think about it, man. Even in the even in the production design, the house, the living area, wood paneled, beautiful furniture. The kitchen area, the working area, cement,
I didn't.
bland, plain, factory, work. It's not. There's a fine line. He did that on purpose. There's a dividing line between the parks, the rich people, and the poor people.
Yeah.
There's a fine line even in the set design of this.
even when you see that little like the basement area, the area that you have to walk in to get to like this storage place
Oh,
for
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
There's
food and everything.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, again,
Isn't it the same like lower class?
It's the same lower class. You have to go down and fetch me food and bring it back up. And then also, I'm going to shun that area. Like, there's no lighting, no fixtures. It looks so broken down.
And I know it might seem simple, but to me that's
No, and the
beautiful.
light. By the way, stairs is a huge component of this film in every facet.
Yeah. I've been told that Austin. He actually kind of like put me in like, damn, they just keep going down and down and down when they're running away.
Yeah.
And
And they're going down and down and down, and the sewage of the rich is what floods their neighborhood.
exactly.
The
Dude, symbolism,
downpour,
dude.
the trash, the worst, the landfill.
Dude, when they fumigate and they're like,
Oh,
yo,
man.
this is free.
What's your rating, man?
Oh my God, man. Every time I watch it, I find something new and I'm just like, I'm embarrassed.
good
I never
cinema
knew
was.
about Korean cinema, especially this director.
Good cinema is.
Yeah. I know we've gotten, a little bit better at rating, but I'll give this a solid 9.8.
Wow.
I don't know why I won't put it the 9 or the 10.
Fair.
But it's just
Fair.
I'm leaving a little space, like you said, a little space to see if something else.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Okay.
beautiful.
Mr. Young,
How's it going?
rating and
Long time listener.
rating
Long
and
time
all.
listener, first time caller. So I found this like lump on my back. What should I do?
You know
Should
what?
watch more cinema. You'll be on your back anyways.
Yeah, man. Jack off with your left hand.
My right's the away game. Anyways.
Oh,
Same.
jeez.
Rating?
Rating
The away game.
10.
Wow.
A dime. That's a dime.
That's a dime.
That's 20 though.
Yeah.
That's 20.
I couldn't find it.
That's two tens.
I couldn't find a
Let's do this,
good.
bro. Let's do this, bro.
I really wanted
they
you to
tens,
show
but
like
they
a
rhyme nice.
Yeah,
Korean.
they 10, but they right now. I feel you,
Hold
though.
on, hold on.
Damn it! I was trying to see.
They don't
two
look like
nickels.
20s, but they're 10s.
Did you show
They
it to your
tens, but they
camera?
rhyme nice.
Woo!
Yeah, it's a dime.
Wow, it's a dime for you.
Like for me, I think it sits on the pedestal, like up there,
Yeah, like
Pedestal of what? Of your
great cinema.
Cinema.
Not on my personal level of great cinema.
like studying
okay.
a director.
Fair. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
No.
Direction and script and
Any gripes with it?
no,
Right? I'm trying to like.
none.
Oh, the dog's performance was kind of weak. It didn't come in at the right times. I didn't understand what it was
I
doing
did
there.
see that, and then he did this thing with his paw where I was
No,
like,
and then the continuity wasn't there. It walks in, walks out. Like, I know the protagonist, but who's the antagonist? Like,
one of them is sitting, and then the
Hey, dog, how'd you want to turn 6 again?
Yeah, it's a
okay.
dime.
It's a dime.
damn.
think
9.8
that's only
and
my
a
Can
second
you?
or third
Is there anything you feel you'd want to point out as an editor or a producer?
Well, I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about as an editor, but we'll do that later.
Why? You're on your rating.
Well, I don't know. We'll get to it.
Give us a highlight at least.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What's your
There's a couple cool little.
What's
Even
the
as a
biggest-
producer, man, this has to be producer nightmare, man. Like putting
Oh, it
this
is.
film
I don't know if
together.
you saw they built the house. They completely.
They built everything.
They built that badass house?
They built the rich house, just the first floor. Second floor CGI.
Okay. Yeah, you can.
Second floor exterior is CGI. Second floor interior is a soundstage. Basement is a soundstage. The main floor of the house was built.
Okay, I can see that.
Did you see that thing that they took it to a real architect and he's like, nobody would build this.
Nobody would build this stupid fucking thing.
Really?
Yeah. But
Why?
you know what's
Yeah, I see
interesting?
a lot of the architecture channels.
You know what's interesting? Well, because Japanese or Asian architects are respected.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Feng shui is legitimately a thing.
Shui.
I will also say that what impressed me the most about the behind the scenes, like once I finally got the Blu-ray, in terms of producing, dude, the fucking poor neighborhood, the downpour, the flood.
Well, I was asking
that
about
was a
that.
fucking tank.
Oh,
That
what?
was a soundstage. That was a water tank.
Like
All
in
of that-
Universal Studios, you know how they let the flood go?
Well, that's
Really?
an exterior set. Think Titanic. Titanic was shot inside of a water tank because you
Yeah,
have to have
they just
real
let the
water.
water-
In yes. But when you see the behind the scenes, you see them, all right, action. They run the water down into this set. It's a set. It's a fucking set. It's not a neighborhood in Korea that they shot. It's a fucking soundstage, man.
$11 million, by the way, the budget.
$11 million budget.
Ridiculous when I'm hearing the budgets that we're asking for and they're peanuts.
And they're peanuts.
And that's what they did with 11 mil. Like,
Granted,
oh my God.
it's substantially cheaper to shoot out there.
I know, but even then, I mean, thinking of like, look at what people are doing. I mean, we talked about All Quiet on the Western Front, and I think that was like 20 mil.
By the way, I didn't realize that shit was a remake, man.
Parasite?
No, All Quiet on the Western Front.
You know when I
Irishman?
realized? No. What I realized is that my dad told me that it was a remake. Apparently, he saw the original. God knows when.
It's like on Criterion Channel.
Yeah.
And I was like, the fuck? It's like a 1950s war film, war epic.
Oh, wow.
It's a remake. I didn't realize that.
I kind of
Anyways.
want to see it.
So just producing.
Yeah.
You didn't think? I thought. I know we all say, "Oh, that's a beautiful shot." I thought it was pretty cool when they see like the water going up on the window and
The
then
muddy water.
yeah, and then it's
And then the top shot.
You
Yeah.
like that shot? No, I'm joking.
no, yeah. I thought it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's
Honestly,
just-
every shot in this film is perfect.
Yeah, right?
It's
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. I don't know. Should I talk about it now or later?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, no,
I think
Whatever you want.
because
I mean, at least like the law
because-
says, at least a highlight. That you
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
it's
like
it's
what's
stood
a
out.
moment that really stood out
Law
for
of
you?
illusion.
Did you just ruin my thing?
Nah, it's good.
No, what's a moment that really stood out for you as far as the edit goes? Because I feel like with all of our respective fields, when it's done well, you don't even notice it. But
The
for
cutaways.
us,
Or like
Oh,
the insert shots. Like the inserts.
Like
oh
what?
yeah,
Like when we cut to the camera. Like, I think that's one thing that a lot of editors, including myself,
cut to
struggle
the
with
camera?
is knowing
Yeah, I didn't get that.
like when to put in inserts and when it doesn't feel jarring and when it does.
Sure.
But none
Oh,
of the
I know
insert-
one that stood out, but I don't know if it's positive or negative.
No, it's positive. Like it did it really well.
Well,
Like-
one of the inserts is the camera.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
That's
we go-
what he means. The security camera, the CCTV one.
like that, and
Oh,
like there's a lot of that.
What
in this
about
one.
that was good? I don't know.
It wasn't jarring, but it lets you know what was going on.
yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times when in films where they put inserts in, it like almost has no context to what's going on, and it's like,
you know what? That shot they could have easily done that cut earlier when
Yeah.
the maid's talking about like, oh, I cut the
No,
camera.
no. But then
yeah,
No, what I'm saying is that I think a more amateuristic director would have just said like, "Oh, she
belongs
says that
here.
dialogue. Let's
then
just
we
shove
cut
it in
to
their
it,
face."
yeah. Yeah,
and
no.
this one was like, "Let's give it enough breathing room, and then just give you that little subtle kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, see,
Beautiful,
see
yeah.
how that all played together. You know,
Yeah.
they're bringing that tapestry together by just knowing when to kind of pop it in. Because
Yeah.
it was stuff like that that really stood out to me on the edit.
Okay.
But there's more I do want to talk about later.
Okay. Mr. Lalo,
Mr. Oh man,
Mr. Non-Beanie today.
non-beanie.
I like
I
it.
actually kind of miss it.
I kind of don't.
I kind of do.
That's
I like the
Rude.
smell.
It's fine.
How do you feel without it?
Feel naked.
cold. No,
Do
I
you feel
okay.
naked?
No, I just
feels-
Do you feel vulnerable?
I'll tell you how I feel if you want to know.
You like that breeze in your hair?
No, stop it. Get some help.
Or are you on the same
So
boat that we all hate
I-
fucking Carlos's hair? I'm like, my bad. My bad. I did it. My bad.
The reason I like my beanie, which is why we all came here today,
Yeah.
to talk about my head fashion.
I was waiting to see what you were wearing.
Not my head style. That's a different story.
That's why I say it's you being you without any crutches, if you will.
Yeah.
That's why I like seeing you without the hat or beanie sometimes.
I like that stare.
I like when I see him without any clothes.
I like that blankless stare that you just keep cutting.
Hey, chat, comment your thoughts on my head game. Wait, on my headwear.
Hold on, let me comment.
No.
'cause
Yo!
let me comment.
Too much teeth.
Anyway, moving forward. Moving very far forward.
The little more spit, goddamn.
Parasite gets a perfect 10 in my book.
Wow.
Yeah, a perfect 10 for cinematography, for everything, man. I mean, I can't think of one bad thing about this film, in the sense that when I rate something a 10, I think it's something that you can give to any film student, filmmaker, and they'll look at it and see so much that they can learn from and improve upon. And me as a cinematographer, I've seen a lot of films that I've just thought these are the films that have inspired me to want to master the craft of cinematography and add on to that as far as like the history of cinema goes. But when you look at this film, like you kind of mentioned, the shots and the production design, everything's so it's funny how the character says so metaphorical, but I think the balance comes where how do you show something visually that, like, let's say like in your head you're like, I'm gonna have, let's say in my film, this teddy bear that's gonna sit right here on the corner, and that's gonna be a representation of this character's mom always being there, right? And then as a cinematographer, when you hear that coming from like the story, coming from the director, and you think, okay, so this single piece of set design means a lot for the story. How do we show it? And, you know, again, with like even insert shots, you could just go and be like, well, it's just an insert. And, you know, I've been faulty of it too when things are inserts that I'll just think like, well, I know how to film it. And you just pop in, light it up, and that's it. And then you gotta really think, is that the best way we could have told even the simplest shot? And no, this film says, what is the best way we can tell every moment, every beat? I mean, even some of the cinematography choices of like that top-down moment of like him handing over the business card, where they're in a car. It's a difficult shot to do. That's not a comfortable, like, okay, let's just get the camera rig and do this. It's really one of those where you gotta take time on set to get this one little shot. But in that moment, it's almost like that painting of like, what is it? Adam touching like God's hand.
The creation of Adam.
Yeah, the creation of Adam. And those moments where it's that
Michelangelo.
it's the only connection that's going to get the last piece of the family involved. And how are we really going to emphasize that moment? And in
With the Scorsese shot.
yeah, in the shot composition, yeah, it was perfect and beautiful. And I mean, as a cinematographer, you could talk about every shot in this film, every way that it was lit, everything about it, and then just talk about how it paired and blended so well with the story. And like I said, there's very few films that you could watch, especially like a bad film. You'll watch it and you'll be confused, like, what's going on here? But films like this, get rid of the dialogue. I don't even need the subtitles. I could tell you everything that's going on in this film, and on top of that, I can feel the weight of every moment. And I think the cinematography was perfect. The film itself is perfect. You talked about the story. You talked about the edit. There's so much every person could learn from, and just watching it. So
No weak link in the characters either.
I just think that there's so much to be gained. Well deserved, Bong Joon Ho, for having made a film that really will stand the test of time, and I think have its place in the pantheon, as we talk about. So yeah, I think
Perfect.
it was perfect time.
By the way, this is number 90 on the Sight and Sound poll.
See, it earned its spot. Its spot.
Since we all know that you have a list. Is it in there?
My top, like,
Personal.
no.
Oh, really?
It's not. But that's kind of a good bridge into my rating. I think Parasite
Is a movie.
No, I think Parasite is a modern masterpiece.
Off the bat, like
I
right
think
away.
Parasite's a modern masterpiece, but I think it's like one of the most accurately ranked films in the Sight and Sound poll list in the scope of cinema.
90.
And that's why it kind of coincides with my rating. I'm putting this at about a 9.7.
Okay.
I think this might be our
Highest,
maybe
huh?
I think In the Mood for Love might be
Or
higher.
cable guy too, yeah.
Yeah. The Before trilogy too, we all gave 10s. And In the Mood for Love. The only reason I say that is because I think it's too early. I think we need to live with this film. I think I need to live with this film longer.
Why though? Because okay, this is my point. Before you keep going, Why do you think we have to wait more if this is where we're at?
Because and this isn't just like a comparison this in this sense, but why do I have to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey 10 times before I can even give my opinion about it? Because it's that deep. It deserves that many watchings. It deserves that far of an analyzing kind of front to it, and I think Parasite deserves that.
You think
Yes,
you
Austin.
still it?
No, I was gonna ask, do you feel like you need to mature yourself as
Yeah.
a filmmaker,
That's
but
what it is?
a film?
Yeah, as a
film
consumer.
absorber, yeah, a consumer.
Is it one of those that it's ahead of its time type?
No, not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. What I mean is,
Help me understand.
I think films are to be revered. Films of this caliber aren't. They're not a McDonald's meal.
Mm-hmm.
They're a tasting menu from a chef in France.
Absolutely, I agree.
So if I let me put it to you this way, by that comparison, right? Anytime I feel like I didn't go get McDonald's, and it's not gonna mean anything. Still be good. I like McDonald's. I'll enjoy the meal. But if I save my money to buy a plane ticket to go to Paris to experience that thing, and then I come back and be like, yeah, it was pretty good. I didn't take time to sit there and taste the food and analyze and think about what made it valuable for me.
There's some films, Castro, I think that if you watch, that year, I know I've had plenty of them where I thought like, oh my God, when I watched this, it was one of the best things I've ever seen. And I know that at that moment in time, and I've always had that battle where it's like at that moment in time, I would have rated this a 10. And I would think that this is the best thing ever made. And then as time goes on, I watch more movies, I develop my craft, then I rewatch it and it doesn't hit the same. And it's not that I know the twist and I know the turns. It's just that now where I saw it good for that time, because in that place and that year, and comparing it to what was around that year.
I kind of agree.
In this season of my life, as a storyteller, as a cinephile, I'm excited about cracking the surface instead of just scratching it. And I think Parasite it's most certainly not scratching the surface. But what I love about Bong Joon Ho and what I love about, I haven't felt more relatable. I haven't found a director that's more relatable other than maybe like Richard Linklater for me. Because Bong Joon Ho is not afraid to fan out about cinema. And not in the in a pretentious way, but in a way, like for instance, he says, I was very inspired by Mad Max Fury Road on this film. Because the action is what's driving the thing forward, but it's not being exposition heavy in how the story unravels. He says, in the moments where we see two actors in the frame having a long conversation,
Right.
Scorsese and the Coen brothers inspired me on those moments. You see, what I love about Bong is that I can relate to him in the sense that I can fan out about the films that are inspiring me to be a storyteller, and revere those and honor those.
But we're talking about Parasite.
That's that's my point. Parasite wouldn't be Parasite without this.
No, I get it.
So
But
why does somebody like Bong Joon Ho can go back and say, man, it took me so much time to sit and ponder about this film before I even knew what it was telling me? That's how I feel about Parasite.
Well, I guess I'm seeing it from the audience perspective. It's like
Me too.
It's like I take it as the way I watched it the first time. Afterwards,
I can't do that because
It's just like
it's like the law says. If I give the film a 10 the first time I see it, I'm gonna mature as a human being.
That's maturing, like anybody else. Everybody's
No,
getting but at that moment, it stuck with you. That
But
was a
we
moment.
had-
Let me put it to you this way: we're
had
not gonna revisit this film.
We're not living off nostalgia.
Well, that too, but we're not gonna revisit this film in 5 years and do another podcast on it. So I don't want to waste my rating in the sense of oh, I think this is a perfect film, because I think it's a masterful film. I think I'm gonna revisit it in a year or 5 or 10, and I'm gonna feel differently about it, and not negatively. It's just gonna make me be more introspective about myself, about society.
Well, obviously, but isn't it like the moment? Well, we're all forgetting about the moment.
No, but we
when I
talked
first saw
about
this, I was like, wow.
No,
Korean
usually,
word?
dude.
Korean.
Usually, yes, I agree.
I'm not 5 years from now. I'm
but
gonna be like, Korean.
that's
No, I remember the.
Yeah.
We talked about Walter Mitty. I know it was your first time seeing it, and you rated it high. And the first time all of us saw it, in our
Oh, yeah,
journeys
I
in
remember,
life.
yeah.
I'm not comparing it to that though, because that has a negative connotation around it.
No, but it's this idea that like again, like I was
don't
saying,
agree.
as life goes on and we develop our craft and all that, and we mature as audience members, like because time's gone on and I've matured from seeing this film the first time to now, but the fact that I like at least in my own journey right now, I can look at this film still and see so much that I could learn from it, and so much that I as a
Right.
as a student in my craft want to improve upon, that's why it lives so high up. And with all the great films that I've seen, I mean, it's more than just
It's more than just a one-time watch. It's more than just the
This
first
is
time
probably
watch.
the dumb example, but it's like, oh man, maybe we get timestamp it.
No, let's go there.
It's like Toy Story. When I first saw it, to me as a kid, obviously nowadays it's gonna be like, but I always remember the first time I saw it.
Yeah, and that's cool, dude. That's how like
Obviously,
that's how
I'm
cinema
gonna grow out
impacts
of
you,
it.
right? No. Yeah, but I think we're misunderstanding each other. That's how you consume cinema, right? What the first punch. The way I've been consuming cinema lately. I don't know if this is gonna last forever. The way I've been consuming cinema lately, the way cinema has impacted me lately, personally, right now, is
Rewatch.
Usually if I know the first, this shit was amazing the first time around. Usually that tells me I'm not gonna revisit it for a while. Usually when I'm like, why did that make me feel that? And then I'm thinking about it for weeks on end.
Why?
It does something, you know. It's more special to me in that sense. I don't know. I can't explain it to you, but for instance, I remember watching recently. We talked about the Before trilogy. I mean, we talked about the Apu trilogy on this podcast. And the first time I saw it, I was like, "Why is this highly revered? Why are people going head over heels over this shit?" And that was my first screening of it. And then a couple weeks later, I was like, "Oh shit! Shit!"
Yeah.
You know, and I'm gonna go on a limb here. And again, I rated this film 9.5, 9.7.
1.8.
Yeah, 9.7. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that Parasite is masterful in the sense that it holds a mirror to society in one of the best ways possible. It's masterful in its craft. It's masterful in its directing. In every aspect of cinema, it is. It absolutely is. Oh God, I can't believe I'm gonna compare it to this. This is just how I am, man. This is just how.
Hit me with your best shot.
This is just where I'm at currently in my cinematic journey as a viewer. I don't know if long-term Parasite has more to say at face value, and I'm glad that it doesn't. Because at face value, it's a film about class systems. It's about rich and the poor. It's about driving people crazy and to what kind of stakes you can get in that position in life, which is universal.
Exactly.
So, in the sense that that's as far as you're gonna get with it, then you know what I'm saying. Let me put it. The film I'm gonna compare it to is this. What's very special about Parasite in a very amazing way is that I for the longest time I heard people saying this about Jaws. Oh, Jaws is about everything. It's got suspense, it's got fear, it's got love, it's got hate, Jaws is it's universal.
All encapsulating.
It's all
Really?
encapsulating cinema. I think Parasite is all encapsulating cinema.
Okay.
That's very special, man. It's very rare to pull off. I don't know that I'm going to
But-
sit here and analyze it the way I've analyzed In the Mood for Love for fucking 5 years.
You won't?
I don't, not personally, because I already know what it's giving me. I know what it's about. I know what it's telling me right now. When I lose my house and I go broke, maybe it's going to have something else to say to me. You know what I'm saying? Or when I get rich and fucking become a billionaire, it's going to have something else to say to me. But right now, at face value, it's the human condition. It's a spectacular way to explore the human condition on two planes.
You know what it me? The part that I is really, really hitting hard, and I mean, when
All this sounds negative, Gaston. I promise you it isn't.
No, I know where you're going.
I promise you it
know
isn't.
you're
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say the part that really stuck with me and punched hard
Yeah.
and bumped me up from rating this maybe like a 9.6 or so all the way to a 10. It was just that final note from the son where he says it amazed me, or I just had to laugh when I was looking in a room full of people, like pretending to be something that they aren't, or I forgot what the dialogue he uses is, but seeing the world in such a different way. It's just a bunch of people playing their parts, like pretending like they know what they're doing, and something like that. I mean, something,
That's punchy. That's
see, that was
something
super
to-
super punchy. And as time's gone on, and I mean, especially after watching the film, because you see the film, you see the
Yeah.
story, and then after you get that whole like, once you get the surprise, right? Because that's what happens with a lot of films, especially like murder mysteries.
Yeah.
Once you get the surprise, and after you've been after that first surprise,
Yeah,
you
like
come back to the
Oppenheimer.
film, and it's like, okay, I now know what the surprise is. That was fun.
And you know-
but am I going to come back
exactly,
to it?
exactly.
And,
Okay, stay
Wait,
with-
wait,
stay- no,
let's stay there. Let's
stay
stay there.
with that one.
Let's
Wait,
stay there.
wait,
Let's stay there. Let's stay there. Wait, let's stay there.
one.
Oh no, yeah, because you mentioned like I already saw this film and I know the ending that there's
See,
somebody
that's
down
the
there.
thing.
Same
Oppenheimer,
thing
man.
with Oppenheimer.
I'm gonna live
No,
with
We
Oppenheimer
saw
for a
the
little
whole
while.
story,
No.
which was good, but then we were all expecting just
Oppenheimer's about that one line. This is what Oppenheimer's
the
about.
Einstein.
No.
Oppenheimer is
The destroyer of
I
worlds?
am the destroyer of worlds. It's about the internal more than the external,
For sure.
right? It's
But I got it.
No, because you're thinking.
What am I gonna go back and see it?
You're gonna think about the evolution of war in today's society. You're gonna think about,
I did.
oh man, we created something that's creating.
I did while I was
like-
watching it.
like, do you
That's
remember-
why I liked it so much. But then
And
it's
you're
like,
telling me you're gonna it starts and ends there for you?
yeah.
Really?
It
Like you're
just-
not
I'm
living
saying
with
it.
it.
Was a bad. It was a good film, but it's not.
Like you're not living with
What
it.
about,
I'm not gonna watch that 5 times.
Real? Well, not in
For
the same year,
performances
maybe,
and
but in your
everything?
lifetime.
Why?
Really?
You think that you already got all that you could get out of it?
That's interesting.
I mean, probably I'll watch something else, and there's some. But
But like that's where I was mentioning
the
earlier.
pinnacle was of
like,
him being like he didn't want to become this destroyer of worlds. He did,
None of
No,
you have
but
seen
if-
but he did it
Past
for the
Lives,
right
man.
thing, and then
if you look at it that way,
Bomb.
then there's no need
yeah.
for even the Oppenheimer
even the ending
movie
was cool.
itself, because then it's like,
Because
well,
you
this
know
is-
that.
Yeah, we know this guy. We know that he was the main founder of the atomic bomb, and then we know that later on he ended up having a lot of regrets about how it all transpired.
Exactly.
So if that's all you need to know, you already know.
No,
You
no,
don't
no,
need
no,
to watch
no.
the
Hey,
film.
wait, wait, wait,
No,
wait.
no, no, no,
I'm saying the whole history. Everything that happened
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
history, about
Yeah.
how they were racing
it's it.
against Japan or
I
whatever
think
Germans.
cinema, dude.
to build the bomb. I
think-
know the history.
I think cinema. I think that's why cinema's so powerful. When it's powerful, it's so powerful that it transcends the screen and it's in your life now. To me, that's the
Damn, I don't even know if
strongest
that-
of cinema. To me,
did.
that's the strongest of cinema, where it transcends what's on the screen or what's in the history books or what's in the human history. But it transcends it so much that you now are going around washing dishes, going to work, and you're sitting there analyzing, why is this in my head still?
Yeah.
It ain't.
Why is it impacting
And
me
this one
so
ain't.
much?
No.
This one ain't. That's my fucking
Oh
point.
my
You know why? And you know why? And you know why? Because I think if it would have explored and fucking whatever, man, argue against me, please, because this is the point. I think if we would, and I'm not saying it should do this. I'm not saying the film should be changed or wouldn't better would do this. I'm saying that if we would have kept exploring the conversation that they were having before we find the fucking basement, dude. If we would have explored that conversation was fucking fascinating.
Which
to
one?
me.
Which one?
The rich people argument. The Miss Park is always so nice. Well, yeah, if I had that much money, I'd be nice too.
Oh, and the drinking.
Oh yeah. If I would have gotten like more of that, I think I would have kept thinking about that and thinking about if I'd had that much money, all my problems go away. But I'm also
No, and that's
But what
why.
if-
By the way,
But they do.
there's a line.
Wouldn't it be too
There's a line.
much?
There's a line in Wolf of Wall Street.
They did enough.
There's a line in Wolf of Wall Street. In Wolf of Wall Street, there's a line where he's like, "Being rich makes you nicer. I donate to more charities. I donate to the church. It makes me holier. It makes me a better. Being rich makes you a better person." Because you can give money. You know what I'm saying? It's an oxymoron. But
Why would you want to see more of that?
let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Bong, but
That's
Director
the-
Bong,
That's
don't
what
hate me.
I'm trying to know,
Don't
like,
don't hate me
oh,
for
well.
this. Director Bong, don't hate me for this.
Nah, judge.
Don't hate me for this. I think if we didn't, I think the man in the basement's a crutch.
It's a crutch.
I think it's a crutch.
Okay, I'm still with you.
I think the man
Let
in the
him
basement.
elaborate.
I think the man in the basement is a crutch. I
don't
think
see the same.
I think it's a cinematic crutch. I think it's a cinematic crutch because though it makes the story more interesting and it adds another layer to it,
No,
and
it's
there's
not
a
just
level
that.
below, it's all fine. I think that I think that's the line it like kind of this film plays on. Like this film is on the tightrope of
Okay.
like it's holding up a mirror for society that I'm going to think about for a very long time, and I'm going to. I am
exactly.
I am on a lot of fronts. But I think The Man in the Basement was almost created for the general audience members.
No,
And not that he did that on purpose.
No, but I feel like what The Man in the Basement is in society, there's this rich, wealthy class that we look up to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we only look up to them because we wish that we had their lifestyle and everything.
Yeah.
But then we're all just trying to appease the next person higher up on us,
Yeah.
like in the ladder of society. And there's... That man was very much a physical representation
Exactly.
of
The underbelly of
the
society.
underbelly of society.
That's fine.
No, but I feel
fine.
like
It's
I don't
fine.
think he's as much of a crutch as you're saying, because you just feel like
I'm emphasizing that point to show Castro where I'm at. I'm not saying that.
No, but I feel like the way you're phrasing it right
Yeah.
now sounds very much like, okay, before all the general audience people get bored, surprise, there's a guy in the basement.
Dude, I kind of feel
And
like that a little bit right now.
no.
I do. And it's not because Bong's
No,
a bad
but then
director.
he ended up adding so many layers as far as like the metaphor of like lighting the path for them and working so hard just to make Mr. Park look better, and then also being somebody who like
But
doesn't just
isn't
revere.
it sending a weird message, man? Isn't it? Okay, look, the film name Parasite, right? Isn't it sending a weird message where this individual, this underbelly of society man, regards the rich man as a god, sees the rich guy as a god?
Yeah.
What?
Okay,
That's,
hold on.
that's where we're at. Look at all the people
we
who watch
elaborate-
the fucking Kardashians and like add.
That's definitely a
Dude,
world.
I can
Exactly.
appreciate. That's the thing, though, right?
But hold on.
I can appreciate who Elon Musk is. I think he's a fucking idiot.
Hold on, but in the
Do I
story,
envy his money? Absolutely. Do I think he's a god? I think he's a fucking moron.
yeah, no, I don't think anybody's a god. But
You
why
know,
why did this guy think he was a god? Just because the appreciation?
Because he
because-
leeches off of him like a parasite. Because
For
he
the
lives
past
in
4
the,
years.
He's basically supported his life, his
That's why he
food,
thinks he's a god?
his living. You know, and I also
I
think
kind of understood that, but I was just like, is he?
we have to respect
is
this man
he-
because I have to honor him. He feeds me. He clothes me. He houses me.
Okay, I get it. Okay,
It's-
Go for it with it. Yeah.
No, I just think
That's
that
weird.
it's something that's
And I'm
so
being
big.
super reductive, man, and I'm being super facetious to prove
Yeah.
a point. I don't think it's a crutch in the sense that it makes it a weak film. I think that if I'm to answer the question of my personal rating of why it doesn't make it into my top 10, it makes it into like my top 20, top 30 maybe. It is on my top list. It's just not something that's made me feel.
I'm trying to take that away
Yeah.
from the movie.
Oh, what do you mean?
If that wouldn't happen,
The basement thing?
yeah, I think it was needed.
I think
Just
it's what
how
turns
where
the
they
film.
lived, how
No,
they.
Yeah,
I
I think
feel
it's what turns the film
the
into like
empathy of,
that.
like-
I think it's what turns it into that thriller aspect. You know,
Yeah, that's why I think it's a blend of. It's obviously.
it's all encompassing
Yeah, yeah.
cinema. But to me personally, my preference, my palette, my taste in cinema right now, it didn't have to be.
it didn't
I
to
would
be-
have been really like enthralled and like happy and curious if we would have stayed on that conversation. If we would have explored that side of them, right?
Because
It would've
I
been
think
too much.
I think what he's saying
I
is
don't
that
mean extend the scene, Castro.
No,
I
no, no.
mean
that's
explore
the
them
voice
working
of-
for a rich family.
No, we got that. We got that through.
no.
Wow, you see, that's to me, that's what the human condition is about, right?
Yeah, I don't
This
think it
is
was-
just more like symbolic. Like The Man in the Basement is a great storytelling device, but
Right.
it's the device nonetheless. You know what I mean?
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, it's hard to
I
describe.
get what you're saying.
It's hard to
You're
describe.
saying that there's so many. I mean, you could have a bunch of good symbols, but if the message isn't holding you in the time past the film, then
Yes, yes.
Is it all worth
I'm
it?
gonna walk away from Parasite going like, it was a fucking phenomenal film, and holy shit, and it had everything.
But
And,
then once you
dude,
get all
and
the
then-
messages,
But then I
Is
get
it
once
gonna
I
hold with
again
you?
I am picking up on the subtleties of the filmmaking every time I watch it. I'm not picking up on any new messaging. It doesn't mean any different.
So it's gonna get old.
no,
I don't know about it getting
No,
old.
for me-
I don't know about it getting old. It's so hard to describe, man.
but I get you. I get you.
I don't.
Help me describe
I
it then.
don't.
Help me
Well,
communicate
like I was
it
saying
to
right
Castro.
now, like I mean, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, when you talk about like even films you've connected with, they have a message in everything that they do, but some messages are really gonna stick with you, and other
Yeah.
times you're gonna watch a film and you're gonna get the message and you're gonna be like, that was okay. I mean, one film that I watched that like sure had a message, if you want to call it that, is like Captain Marvel, and the message was embracing yourself and women power and all this kind of stuff. But that message was so weak and so flat that at the end of the day, no one's gonna walk away thinking that that was the best film they ever saw after decrypting all this like emotional weight and like her beating the bad guy being this message for like women fighting their way in society. Like, but they're gonna look at other films
Yeah.
and they're going to see similar messages and the way
Yeah.
that they're executed, and those messages are going to hit deeper.
And I'm not gonna discount what Bong did, dude. I mean, Bong did
No,
this
no, I know,
amazingly in his career. What I'm saying is, why? I'm always wondering, like, once you decipher the code, because that's also great cinema, right? When I've deciphered the code of Parasite, I know it's about class systems and the stairs and the lights and lighting and where we're going and the juxtaposition of music and what's about to. I mean, everything, right? I mean, I've deciphered the code. I deciphered the code almost right away. I still haven't deciphered 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I've seen it 3 times.
Because you haven't seen it 4 times.
Exactly. I'm gonna continue
Timestamp that.
I'm gonna continue to decipher 2001: A Space Odyssey probably for the rest of my life. And at first I didn't get that. At first I was like, everybody's raving that this is Kubrick's best, and then I felt so good because Spielberg was like, dude, when I first saw it, no, but then I saw it 10 years later.
So simply put,
It's a masterpiece film, but we're going to need more time to see if the message is going to be as lasting
Yes.
as it
Yes.
really as.
yeah, I was gonna put it. Yeah,
Yes. And I hate using the word message. I hate using the word message
No, but
because
I mean-
message can be so cheesy,
No,
right?
but
like,
also we're like film is about communicating ideas and it's communicating something central using all these different aspects in editing and acting, cinematography, directing.
Yeah.
So
let me just, you're right. And that you're on the note. You hit it on the nail. Let me just rephrase it.
okay.
I want to know if what director Bong was trying to say with this is going to hold, for a lifetime.
Which I agree it will.
I
Well, not
I
lifetime, I don't know that, but
I don't know
40,
if it
50
will.
years.
I
You know
think
what?
I think it
40,
will.
50 years.
I think it will. I don't know that.
it's
yet.
hitting me hard right now, at least in my own circumstance, my own life, only because where I'm at, which
Exactly.
a lot of people in their 20s and everything like that are at, is this kind of like hunt for trying to be successful, and so many people are idolizing money and the people who have it, and they're idolizing this grander system. But then on top of that, I love that moment when he's like, I looked at a doctor who didn't look like a doctor, and I looked at a cop who didn't look like, or a detective who didn't look like a detective. And I've had that so many times where it almost feels like we're all just playing this dress
role-playing
up game,
yeah.
trying to convince each other that we're doing it right, and then somehow we all just kind of connect and puzzle piece together, so then that way we can make this tapestry of whatever society is or our own life is. And that message has always stuck with me. That message of like looking at society in this way of like, does anybody really have it together? Is anybody really who they say they are,
Yeah.
and what we're doing? And that's big.
I respect this film so much, Castro. I honor it and respect it so much and revere it
That's
so
why
much.
you got the back tattoo, right?
Yeah, that's why. Check this. I respect it so much that I don't want to diminish its value by jumping the gun.
It's
Okay.
By jumping the gun on what it means to film. I don't know what it means to film yet. Just like I don't know what Get Out means to film yet.
Oh man, I can't talk about Get Out.
I don't know what Get Out means to film yet. I know what it means right now. It's so relevant right now, dude. It's so relevant that I don't know what it's going to mean in 50 years.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. That's why I say that. I think that's why it excites me, man. The fucking Bong Joon Ho, dude. When by the time he hits Scorsese's age, that's when he's gonna make something that I'm gonna be like,
No. I get it. I guess I just.
you know what I'm saying?
I'm one of those guys that I just remember the first time I saw it and how I took it.
And
That's
that's
fine.
dude,
That's
that
fine.
that side of the
Yeah,
coin
yeah.
is important.
And then afterwards, I just saw it because I liked it. Damn, I didn't want to give you the. I didn't want to give you the whole thing to see.
I want to experience cinema. That's why when we were talking about the documentaries, it made me so frustrated that we kept using the word palatable. Fuck palatable. Fuck what is gonna universal. By the way, universal and palatable are not the same thing. Universal is every human can connect to it.
Exactly.
Universal's a
Palatable,
studio.
Wow.
yes.
Palatable.
Palatable is every human can consume it.
Okay.
We can all consume lard. We're not gonna lack it much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty good.
I'm exploring the trajectory I'm in my cinephile journey right now. Is I want to experience cinema that I'm gonna be thinking about for fucking years. And it's hard, man.
When did this one come out?
2019.
5 years. You haven't been thinking about it?
I've been thinking about it.
Need more time.
I need more time. I just haven't. I haven't been thinking about it. It's like a fucking monk, man.
5 years.
Like you kind of just sit there and you think and think and think and think about who God is and what God is in your life and what humanity is. I mean, I have to sit there and think.
Okay, now I see where you guys
Because
are going.
when I
just-
value
wow,
stuff like
I
this,
see it
dude,
so much differently.
when I value something like this, 1902, 1942, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about it.
Okay. No, yeah, no. I see where you're going. I see
You know
where
what I'm
you're going.
saying? So I respect Bong Joon Ho so much that Parasite, which I think is his best film, Parasite is not a McDonald's meal, man.
But chicken nuggies,
Yeah, man, I like McDonald's.
Big Mac's amazing.
quarter pounder with cheese.
This is not that.
No, I know.
It's not a FX film.
No.
Wait, is it a Royale with cheese?
Oh, you know what's beautiful about it is that's what amazing, transcending, supernatural cinema is. It can be. It can be an FX film for people to be like, oh yeah, I saw this thing. Like everybody was raving of it. It's pretty cool. And like, oh, there's a fucking killer in the basement, but he's not a killer until you know he's a killer. He's just poor. He just needs money. And then there's people, and then that does the same thing for somebody like me who's like, it's fucking amazing, and I can't quite tell you why yet.
Okay.
I gotta live with this thing. I gotta grow as a human before I can answer if it means anything.
Oh,
yet.
5
you know
plus years
what?
more. Okay.
We've gotten a lot into like spirits, right? And I know that when we first started like trying it, or like you with like cigars and all that kind of stuff, it's like you didn't want to hit too high above the belt too early because you have no idea how to appreciate it. You have no
Yeah.
idea how to like enjoy.
That's exactly
Very
it, man.
well.
Yeah, you have
That's
no idea how to
exactly
enjoy
it.
the complexity. So like I could like if let's say this kid, right, that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna show you whiskey when you turn 21. If he turns 21 and I give him like a $200 bottle of scotch and he takes a sip, he's gonna be like, okay,
That's exactly it.
scotch.
That's
Was
exactly it.
Scotch.
And what's
I
funny
love-
is think about all the stories we've been telling each other to open up the podcast. I showed it to my parents, and they're like, I don't know. And then they saw it and they were like, oh, it was pretty cool. They're not sitting there thinking about this film.
Yeah.
They're like, that was a cool film. Thanks for showing it to me. Anyways, you remember that movie from the 60s that I really like? Like that. That's my point. Is I think Parasite for the general audience member is palatable, but it's palatable because it's universal.
Yeah.
It's not palatable because it's palatable. You know what I'm saying?
No, I like the whole.
I think you just need to like mature in your own life.
Yeah.
Go through more experiences, go through more everything, watch more films, direct more films, and then afterwards come back and
Like I can't
But
even.
isn't that the whole part of it? Like,
I-
yeah, I'm gonna do that.
if
because
you
of this.
if
But
you
you-
saw a person, if
For
let's
me,
say no,
thinking
Yeah.
about this.
but if there's a person, right? Like let's
Yeah.
say like a film student, right? Like when we all joined film school and all that kind of stuff, and they've only seen a handful of good films. Let's say like 2 or 3.
Okay, I
and
see
then
the
and
pattern
then
you
you
guys
show
going
them
with.
you show them Parasite, and you're like, check it out. They're gonna say, oh my god, top 10 best film
Okay,
ever
now I'm
made.
feeling disrespected because you're saying that I'm that guy. That
No,
I rated it a 10. I
no.
rated it a 10, and
No,
I'm going to
but-
hold to that.
okay,
But again, like
No.
I'm just finishing off that statement. You know, you give it to them, and with them, they're going to be
Yeah.
they're going to be like amazed by it. But then at the very end, it's kind of like I don't want to respect your rating any more than like, you know, anybody else's just because it's like you're too new, you're too fresh into it. You need to develop more time. And then I think with us, the more time goes on, the more we understand our art form, the more that we understand cinema, then it's
The more
going
we
to
understand
be,
ourselves.
yeah, exactly. Then it's going to be like, oh man, I came into this.
Let me tell you this. Let me put it to you this way, and this is the last thing I'll say before we give our final ratings, because we're 2 hours in.
I'm
I'm
10.
gonna start swinging too.
Well, we're technically less than that, but I can only really tell you my better judgment as a human, Castro, of the Pooh trilogy
Okay.
with 2 out of the 3 films, because I'm not a father yet.
Okay.
I don't know what the third film means to me yet. I know what it means to me as a son who didn't grow up with his dad. I know what it means to me on that level.
Good example.
I don't know what it means to me as a father. But I know what the first one, growing up with a family and going through troubles, I know what that means to me. I know what the second one to me, being a college student and pursuing bigger things, and then your family kind of pulling you back because they want other things. I know that feeling. I don't know what it is to be a father, so
Yeah.
I can't give
That's
you
good.
my full final rating of the Apuch. You know what I'm saying?
That's good,
I'm
yeah.
gonna live with that film until I know what that means and I know how to, But for instance, with In the Mood for Love, I've experienced that feeling many times. With the Before trilogy, I've had these conversations on every facet, on all 3 facets. You know what I'm saying? So, it's that weird thing, man. It's that weird thing where, like, I need to live so much life so that the mirror of cinema can really show me what I'm supposed to be feeling about this thing.
Because if you come back,
And it sounds so pretentious, man, but I promise you that
yeah.
I think it's one of the purest way to experience cinema, right? And it's like
You
you,
know
say,
what
at
moment's
first
gonna be
glance,
I was just gonna say that I think the moment that'll be big, and if it does hold up the way it should and mature. Okay, growing up with and I'll make this my last point so that we can kind of wrap things up. But my father has always been obsessed with this idea of he wanted to make more money, and then he'll even tell us like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I know that I this is all I can provide. I hope I gave you a good home and all this kind of stuff." And he's always so caught up in this idea of I hope I gave enough. And with the father in this film, right? There's always this notion of I'm proud of you. You're doing good. I'm glad that you're getting more than I could give you. But then there's that last moment where after he kills this man, and then he's and he even kind of hinted to it he says, "I have my plan and you guys should have your plan." There's a moment that he went from just being a father who cares and wants the family to succeed and all that kind of stuff to, because of the monster that money's made me, it was always that I was in it for myself. It doesn't matter who's kind of there. And that moment, that shift in how could a person who cares and loves his daughter and everything just be well, when shit is a fan, I got my plan, and my plan is I know where I'm hiding and all that kind of stuff. And if that moment hits later on, and you get to a certain point where you're am I really so caught up in the machine of society?
I gotta be honest with you. I've probably seen this film 10 times. At this screening, you know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about the dad.
Oh, the peaches.
The poor dad.
Oh, sorry.
I was thinking about Song's character, and I was thinking about how why are they in this predicament?
I thought that too.
He doesn't work,
I thought that too.
or he doesn't consistently work. The mom doesn't consistently work. Why are they living like this? I mean, if I have kids, I would hope that I better get off my ass,
I thought that too.
And then his monologue in the gym makes so much sense. His monologue of you know what the best plan to have is to have no plan at all. That's his philosophy of life. And it's what's gotten him all the good. This is just a backstory I made up in my head about him. It's what's gotten him all the good things and the bad things of his life. It's what's gotten him in this position as a human being, as a father, as a husband.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best plan is to have no plan.
That's how you think. That's how he got there.
That's what I've been analyzing. So if I'm going to be analyzing something for the next few weeks, I'm going to be analyzing that line a lot.
Okay.
And that's what I mean.
I respect that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I respect that.
This is also one of the most plot-driven films that I like. And I don't like plot-driven films.
Yeah.
This is super plot-driven
See?
with a lot of character development.
Yeah.
You know?
My type.
And I think that's a good film should be able to mature with you. Right now where I'm at, and I guess my experiences, that line at the end with the son just really stays with
Laughing
me, and it
into me.
really hits hard, and it just really. Because I'm just at a weird spot. I'm just at a weird spot in my own life and society and everything
That's
like
the
that.
beauty of these things,
And like you said, that whole moment of like the dad like having no plan, and there's other beats. There's other beats there. I mean, I know when I showed it to like my mom, that whole notion between the mother dynamic and the rest of society, and her having the most empathy for her because she's trying to do the right thing, but helpless, kind of where she's at the center, where she's just so easily turned and manipulated, and things are just going on around her and all that kind of stuff. So I think for every person, they're going to have their own beat, but if
Yeah.
it can keep doing that for you at different moments in your life, then that's what determines what's a great film. So yeah, I'm good. I'm done.
Nice
10 out of 10.
fantastic
Yeah, I'm still where I'm at. I don't know what it
Nice.
means yet. I don't know what that 9.7 means yet. I'm gonna continue to explore that feeling.
Mine went down.
What?
Because it's true. Like, I know. It's like left field type of thing. You shouldn't make, like when a football player is about to retire, but he plays his last game, you shouldn't give your opinion or whatever you're thinking at that moment. You should live with it a little bit.
Did you watch the Chris Rock Kevin Hart thing on Netflix?
Yeah.
The headliners only thing. Headliners only. That's what it's called.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
It's the documentary about them touring like 4 shows in New York
Oh,
together.
shit, no.
It's fucking great. One of the final lines of Chris Rock is saying, "Yeah, man, everybody's giving me my flowers, and I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for the comedy world." But don't tell me that shit when I'm not in the Hall of Fame yet, because you can't be in the Hall of Fame if you're still playing.
Yeah.
I'm still playing.
No, Brian actually was like, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's saying,
Yeah.
I'm still playing. I'm not in the Hall of Fame yet.
Which I agree.
I think cinema-wise, I'm still playing. There's no way in hell I can make a judgment on something like this with 28 years of life experience. Yeah, I can't. I one day I hope I will, but right now I can't. You know what I mean?
That's the fun part for me, I guess. But I'm understanding from you guys, like, that's the development of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read one thing before we wrap up the show here.
Can I have 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I was waiting for like a break in the conversation or somewhere to bring it up, but
Oh, go for it.
No, please.
I have some editing stuff to talk about really quick.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, the split screen thing.
No.
That was a fun fact for me. I really enjoyed that. Could never pinpoint it, but I thought that was really cool.
Parasite came out in 2019.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was edited on a program, Final Cut 7, which no longer received updates after 2014. This program has basically been done obsolete from Apple. When Final Cut 10 came out, everybody abandoned it. By the way, camera, I don't know.
You.
I have a Final Cut Pro
Perfect.
7 tattoo.
Yeah.
So that struck a really chord with me, which I thought was really interesting. They edited it on a Mac that hasn't been updated in 7 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty big deal. Another thing that I found interesting that they did, I was reading on, is one of the assistant editors was editing as they were shooting.
Really?
Oh,
Did I hear
So
that?
they had an on-set editor. So basically, like, they would shoot like a scene, and he would grab the footage immediately, edit it really quick, and then show it to Bong, and then that could influence if they need to go back and reshoot anything or anything.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
interesting.
Wow.
So a little fun fact about the editing stuff.
That's
Is that,
really
is
cool.
that budget wise or just style?
No, I think that's style because
That's
he was so
preference.
meticulous about
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Because going back to like those storyboards.
But editing it?
No, but what I was gonna say, the storyboards. If you look at the composition of like the home, the toilet, like all these little aspects and things, even like where Carlos was saying, like they built all this on a soundstage. Everything was so much like this is your vision and your like mastery of understanding what
He
this film's
actually
going to be.
said, "He's like, I built all these sets because I wanted to have the most amount of control in them."
Yeah.
And
love that.
for like that, being able to look at your film being like edited in the time that you're shooting it and like, no, this is how it needs to look. This is how it needs to be crafted. It's super meticulous towards like him trying to achieve exactly his style, but I mean, it all paid off.
By the way,
I think I'm going to be like that too.
He said most of the on-set edits made it onto the principal cut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
More props
It's a
there.
little fun.
They shot
fact.
this thing in 77 days, man.
Yeah.
Twice the amount of a normal shoot for the most part, right?
77 days.
77 days. I will say this about the editing. There's something that like every director, it's an unspoken rule that you shouldn't be doing this, but every director would want to do this as well as he did.
What?
There's a couple instances in the film. One in particular, there's a scene with the mom and the daughter in the same frame.
Uh-huh.
The poor family. They take 3 of the mom's performance and take 5 of the daughter's performance and stitched it in the same shot.
Nice.
Just
Oh,
because
like where they're
that's
on each
how-
side? I was loving the composition. These wide shots that or these medium shots on them where they're just on each side of the frame and they're talking to each other and we can't escape it because it really puts the audience that you're in that moment. And I loved
again,
it. And I've
he
seen,
says that Coen Brothers and Scorsese influenced him for those moments.
they're great. They're fantastic.
Yeah,
Wait, which scene? I'm trying to remember. Which scene was that one? The cut.
there was there's a few of them, but
the key one I think you're referring to is when the mom is talking or the daughter's talking to the mom about the drawings and all that. And saying like, "Oh, is there something that happened to him?" And
That
the
one?
first grade, yeah, because there's a moment when they're, it's just showing a medium shot of the two of them sitting down facing each other. And, that's where he's saying they cut it and then stitched it together.
so take 3, take 5.
What do you think? Obviously, because you
Because-
like this one and this
you
one.
got to get the best performance.
That's insane, though.
That isn't. It's
That's
kind
where
of.
building a set also comes into
Bro,
play.
It's
I-
kind
I'm
of an
liking this guy's
again.
directing
It's kind
style.
of an unspoken rule, man. It's kind of cheating, right?
But it
it's-
worked.
But
I
it
didn't
works.
notice it.
Don't get me wrong, dude. If I could have done that, I would have in a lot of places.
we
dude.
like
we do
this
a version
director
of
more.
that. Like,
Yeah. We do a version of that, but it's one of those director dreams, right? Like dreams, like oh, imagine if I could get this fucking person. But
Or you're-
composition is super important in that regard. Building sets is super important in that regard. I mean, like
And like I said, all these shots were very much like you could tell he was behind the steering wheel, you know?
Yeah.
And again, that metaphor of the sauce, he was still behind the steering wheel, but able to make sure that everybody's voice got heard and got done to the highest degree that the final product's just beautiful, gorgeous. Final little note is I know recently we just heard that the lead actor, the
Mr. Park.
Mr. Park.
Mr. Park
Passed away.
Oh man.
Yeah, they're still investigating. This just happened. And Bong Joon Ho's actually kind of leading the charge. Like, I want to know what the fuck happened, and even paying for it, paying for the investigation.
That's
So,
nice.
yeah. I'll read this.
Hold on. One last question. Sorry, before you do. Okay. Do you think this will have a sequel?
No,
I know that
I hope it doesn't.
I know that people were talking. Like, do you think that they'll do an English remake?
they are doing that.
They are?
That is happening.
That's so sad.
But
Yeah.
I don't think it's a film. I think it's a series.
Okay.
But it is happening.
But why here?
I don't know. It is happening though.
Because I think they love the story, but they're like,
yeah.
"Oh,
I'm cool with it if he returns as director.
I think he'll probably again. I think it's a series, and he's directing the pilot.
Not an advisor, no.
Yeah, I
directing
don't
it.
think that's gonna happen.
Okay.
executive
I
producer."
haven't kept tabs on this thing, but I remember hearing about it and being like,
I'm cool if he's in it.
It's
yeah,
gonna be weird.
I don't know how engaged
Anyway.
he
ooh,
is.
last question,
Yeah.
really quick before the quotes. Yes or no, or
Yeah.
what do you guys think? Was it a dream or did it actually happen? Just straight up answer,
I think it was a dream. Because of the last scene.
Carlos.
I think
Oh, like being in the house
Yeah,
and seeing his
buying
dad.
it.
it's magical realism foreshadowing. I think it does happen. And let me tell you why. I know this is a silly way to analyze this, and that maybe it's even stretching. It's even reaching. When the dad walks out of the basement, you know that line that you'll be able to walk out, you know,
Beautiful.
and he hugs the son. The mom's reaction is what gets me.
The mom's over there by the bush where she enterró la otra.
Well, she's just wandering. I think she's taking pictures of the plants and stuff. Like she has her phone out. and
So
stuff.
just
That
she
when
turned around?
she
and
turns
didn't
around
go?
and she hesitates and she's I like again I have this whole backstory where he didn't tell the mom.
Yeah, I was about to say, you don't think he tells the mom?
He didn't tell the mom. And that's like, I don't know. Is that a weird imagination thing? Is that his elaborate plan being his elaborate daydream? I don't know. I think it really happened because it was a genuine reaction from the mom.
I think it really happened too.
Yeah.
I'm still sticking
But
with the
no.
dream.
I think it was a dream because the moment that he comes out is this fantasy of they moved in, but somehow it was made known to like the father and all that kind of stuff. Like
He wrote him a letter.
No, but go.
No, but it's just that like he just walks out and it's kind of like I can come out during the daytime. I can come out when now my son's here. But there's no mention of like not that there has to be, but I don't think that there was any idea like, oh, I'm gonna do this to tell my father it's me and I'm finally here. It was just kind of like I'm just dreaming of the day that I'll be there,
Uh-huh.
and
But
all
that's
he
the
has
nice
to do
thing.
is come out.
It wasn't that natural.
I think there's ways around that theory. I think number
Let's-
one, he's writing a letter to
Call
begin
it-
with.
But
Wait,
how do you
wait,
gotta
wait.
communicate that?
No, no,
He
but
could,
even
dude,
he
he
has
could
it written.
sneak in and drop off the letter.
No,
and
no,
then
not
just
only
like-
that,
What was the
but-
last scene for
But
then?
even in the letter, he wrote it in Morse code. So either somehow he got it to him that way, or he actually gave
flashing a
What?
flashlight while he's looking.
Knocking
No,
down?
but there's
No,
dude,
you can't
even the
flash
even the dad said the family's gone most of the time. The housekeeper's here, sure, but like he's able to sneak out and get food. This kid can sneak in and drop off a letter. I mean, I don't think that's so far fetched. Or the flashlight thing, right? Or what's more is I honestly think the dad's not stupid, and he knew when. How did he know about the whole conversation with the fucking seller? When they sold the house to that other couple, the people that just got there. He's still listening. He can still peek out and see that his
Yeah.
son is coming. I don't think that's... I don't know. I think there's ways around
it's
that.
better to think that
That hasn't happened yet?
It hasn't happened yet, and the son's suffering from what a lot of people suffer from, which is that they're
Brain
spend-
surgery.
No, they're
True,
dreaming.
that's
they're-
true,
No,
too.
they're
No,
but they're just dreaming of the day that they finally have money and they're able to live
Yeah.
their dreams, and then no, you're just stuck in the same.
It's fair. That's all fair.
Yeah.
It's all fine and dandy.
Yeah.
To answer your guys' question, the spin-off television series is a 6-hour HBO limited series based on the film with Bong and Adam McKay as executive producers.
Ah, Will Ferrell's part.
It was announced to be in early development January 2020. Bong has said that this will also be titled Parasite and will explore stories that happen, this is in quotes, that happen in between the sequences of the film.
that happened between.
Oh, so like you know how in the film it kind of like time lapses.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
In February 2020, Mark Ruffalo was rumored to star and Tilda Swinton was confirmed as being cast in the lead role.
Wow.
But in October 2022, Swinton announced she was no longer involved with the series. That's all that has been said about it thus far. Also, there's a plan for a tourist set. If you're ever in Korea, you can visit the set.
The house and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll read this, then I'm done.
Yeah.
Post Oscars, Bong Joon Ho said, "This morning I got a letter from Martin Scorsese. I can't tell you what the letter said because it's something personal. But towards the end, he wrote, 'You've done well. Now rest. But don't rest for too long.'"
Yeah. Beautiful.
So whatever the next thing is, Bong, we're here for it.
Absolutely.
Parasite,
Wow.
phenomenal picture.
Watch it with the subtitles. Don't watch it with the subtitles.
Please.
Next week we are doing.
Is it cinematography?
We're doing
Yeah.
best cinematography award winner, The Revenant.
The
a lot
Revenant,
to talk
Alejandro
about.
G. Iñárritu.
Never seen it.
You've never seen The Revenant?
I only watched it last year because I was working on a script. It's a personal project. No, I was working on a script.
I know about it.
And I really wanted to use that as source materials for kind of inspiring a revenge story. And I know you told me like
About
that's
a panda.
yeah, close.
Does it do kung fu?
Oh, stop spoiling my very personal private project.
Does
about
Jack
my,
Black play the lead?
Stop it, you're
Answer me this.
spoiling it.
Is it animated? I understand. Okay.
Yes, all of it. No, but it inspired me a lot afterwards, and I was shocked. But more than anything, visually, it is just a masterpiece, and I feel like it is the kind of film that any young cinematographer will watch and think, will I ever be able to be even close to that in my own work and career? And it's something that pushes me every day. So yeah, we're gonna talk about The Revenant next week.
Alejandro González Iñárritu.
I'm excited.
And we will pose the question: did Leo deserve the Oscar for that
For
film?
eating a fish.
Not that he deserved it for so long, but for this film.
Yep.
Find out
Join
next
us to talk-
week on Dragon Ball.
Find out next week on Dragon Ball Z Cinematography Week for the Oscars.
Thank you for tuning in.
To the WatchTower Film Podcast.
And love you guys.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.